This is Naoki Yoshida,
This is Fern Hall.
and you are listening to Aetheryte Radio.
Aetheryte Radio.
Here we go!
All right, hello and welcome to Aetheryte Radio, Gamerscape's Final Fantasy XIV podcast. I'm FusionX. Joining me today, we've got a full house again. We've got Zen, we've got Aldino, and we've got Rook.
What up?
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
It's been so long.
So
I know.
it's been a whole week for most of us.
Yeah,
2 weeks if you're
Longer
Rook,
than that
because
for a Rook, yeah.
vacation. What a concept,
Vacation. I know, especially right now in quarantine.
right? It's a
very
great
careful
time. It's a great
vacation.
time to
A
just get
very-
away from everything.
Yes, a very careful remote woods vacation.
You come back to civilization, everybody just is just gone. What happened? Where'd everybody?
Oh
Where'd
God!
everybody go?
Is this all a dream? What's happening right now? I'm on a podcast, I think.
That's a great idea. That's the kind of novel you want to publish right now, right? You just you
Right.
go off for vacation, come back, and everybody's just gone. Where did everybody go?
Good, strong, positive start to the cast today. Nailing it.
Right? Then you find out everybody was just planning one big surprise party to welcome you back.
Okay, all right, I'll take it. That's good.
Or
And is the surprise-
Or it's a global hide and seek game, and you just didn't get the memo.
Interesting. That would take some massive, massive coordination that I'm not sure the whole
Right.
world is capable
Oh,
of.
absolutely
Not in
not.
America.
Absolutely not.
No,
No, not here.
Oh, no.
We won't wear masks, but hide and seek, yeah, I'm down. Let's go. All right. So we have the prelim notes for patch 5.3. As always, the patch notes are massive. But before we get into that, we are turning 11 years old in 2 weeks. So for this, we are going to do what we are calling the 11-year anniversary Dungeon Siege stream. So what this is going to be, on August 18th at 6 p.m. Pacific, that's 9 Eastern, for all you East Coast people, we're just going to stream some dungeon runs. We all got characters on the same data center. We're just going to run some dungeons. We'll pick our favorite dungeons, our least favorite dungeons. Maybe we'll run some polls. You can pick some dungeons. It'll be everything 70 and below, because I'm not going to level another alt to 80 and clear Shadowbringers before then. So we got to set
Come
our
on, I
expectations.
believe in you.
I don't
You
have
got
that kind of
to away.
time. I was supposed to get work done yesterday, and I played Avengers all day instead. So I don't have the concentration or the free
So
time
it's your
needed
fault.
to do, probably.
Yeah.
So
That's
during
fine.
the stream, our friends at Square Enix gave us some game time codes, so we'll be giving those out via some secret word raffle commands during the stream. Leading up to that, we've got a giveaway that's kind of two giveaways. We have some complete editions for Final Fantasy XIV. So if you are looking to change platforms, or somebody that wants to play, or you listen to the show but don't play, we have an opportunity for you guys to win copies of the complete edition for PC and PS4. You can go over to our website, and the entry forms are there. Make sure you enter the one for the correct platform. That's why I split them up that way. And those will run until the end of the day on August 18th. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check that out. And of course, we hope to see you all on August 18th for the Dungeon Siege stream. We also have an announcement we'll be making too. So keep your eyes out for that. It'll be good times. It'll be a lot of fun.
Hmm.
And
I mean,
that's it
yeah,
for
it'll be
news.
okay, I guess. Yeah.
Wow. Way to sell it.
It'll be chill. It'll be, I guess, just an okay time hanging with all of you, doing some dungeons. The good news is, no, it's going to be great. The good news is
It'll
that
it'll be
though,
tolerable.
when we end up having to run Orm Vale 5 times
Yeah.
or more, because I'm pretty
So-
sure it's everybody's least favorite.
We'll
We'll have some new markers, is all I was going to
Yeah.
say.
yeah. So Aurum Vale was on that list. I don't know if it is now. It might be Darkhold
We should
for
run
me
it
now.
just so we can be. Look at what's changed here.
Yeah, we could.
We'll just run it. We'll just get to coin counter and we'll see the circle once. We'll be like, ooh, and then we can leave and do another dungeon.
I mean,
I okay, so I can't say I've never been bothered by Aurum Vale, but the people that I ran with all quickly caught on to Aurum Vale and how it works. So I've definitely been through there 4 or 5 times and had to solo that guy while the rest of my party is just confused.
mm,
Yes.
On all jobs.
It happens. It happens.
It's always fun to watch. Like, you have that moment where you're like, oh, is this person really a sprout, or is this like an alt character that they have? And then you go into coin counter, and if they get obliterated within 30 seconds, that's a real sprout right
That's
there.
the test. That's the
probably.
pass. That's how you know. Yeah.
That's one of those. Do you guys know how to do this? Does anybody need to like a quick tutorial on the fight? I got this for you. We can do this.
well, now if you die when there's a telegraph, maybe you should get an achievement. I'm just saying, and because it's going to be pretty hard to do.
You know, people will do it though.
Yeah,
Al, you
I'm
know?
like, you're
I
being
mean,
really
It's a
nice.
buff circle. Why are you all running away?
Is this a stack marker?
He's coin counter. He's gonna throw Gil at us. Why are you got more for me? All right.
He's making it rain. Come on.
No, that's
Yes,
not till
hail.
later. That's not till
Coins.
later. Make it rain is later. That's not.
Yeah, that's true. You
All
think
right.
that this Siege is not just going to be me complaining about being a summoner sub-level 80? You think that
Oh,
anyone's
man.
going to be able to talk over me just being like, why am I doing this?
I had that thought and I was like, as a DPS, maybe I'll pick a different DPS.
Yeah. I don't care.
Just switch jobs every fight.
Yeah.
There you go. I can't do that. I'm gonna be on Paladin forever.
Yeah.
We needed a tank.
Yeah.
And I have a gunbreaker at 80, so I was the most qualified, I guess. Maybe.
Looks
all right.
at my 2 tanks at 80, 1 at 70. Yeah, I don't know.
We also need a healer. We also need a healer.
All of my jobs are 80.
I'm
hate
so
all of
close,
you.
man. I'm almost there for the Amaro mount.
It's too late.
get him.
I bought the potion. It's too late. We're locked in. All right.
I press buttons and numbers show up, and those numbers are big. That's what I like to do.
That's a solid plan of playing a DPS. It's a good strategy. All right, so patch notes. We're just jumping right to the middle with coin counter here. Obviously we're gonna get new MSQs. We have what? This is actually pretty massive. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 MSQ quests. That's MSQ quests. It's like ATM machine. 12 MSQs. That's pretty big.
Yeah, I don't remember one being like that many, right?
I didn't take, I didn't like go back and look, but I feel like this is a pretty decent number.
I feel like it hasn't been that many.
Yeah, Yoshida-san did say that it was going to take he anticipates it'll take you your whole first day just to get through those quests, and that it's supposed to be on par, like the cutscenes alone, with a full-length film as far as duration goes. So we'll see if that's the case, and I hope it is, because boy, do I want that good lore and story so bad.
And we don't know, but we know, right? There's going to be a trial thrown in there too. So, yeah, lots of stuff. I'm excited. I think this will be a really good story patch.
I mean, we're all basically starved for anything new at this point, right? So we're all like, yeah. And then there's some people who are like, this isn't going to be enough to make me happy. But then there's also, like, in the back of my head, I'm like, no, it's going to be great. Don't worry about it.
Well, also wait for the 0.5 because we're getting Boja, so that'll fix up whatever other issues people had with not enough to do. Here's Eureka 2.0.
I don't think of it that way.
I do.
I mean,
mostly because the lack of having to level something else entirely.
Okay,
I feel like that was
fair.
a huge part of Eureka, and so that's what differentiates it for me.
That's true. I mean, it is going to be its own thing, but hopefully it'll build on some of the good points of Eureka.
Yeah.
Chronicles of a New Era quests have been added, so obviously we're getting Yorha, Dark Apocalypse. We're going to be getting that second raid here. So there's 3 quests with that. We've got the Sorrow of Werlyt, so we got the Sleep Now in Sapphire. With our super anime music. I can't wait. That'll be a lot of fun.
I can't wait to see like what actions we have if we're piloting that thing, like, oh man, I can't wait to see it.
We'll probably have like 3 actions. One will be a
Yeah.
heal.
I can't wait for all the deep mecha references that are going to be in there. That's what I'm really excited for. Because even just the pose with the Gundam reference. So.
I really hope it just starts with somebody just listening to like an orchestrion of like "Fly Me to Dalamud" or something, right? We'll just he got the reference.
I'm curious. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with this, because it's very strange, and as far as I know, this has not happened before, that in our like optional patch cycle primal set that we get, that we've had like little duty instance kind of things, but this, like the way that they are sort of billing this, really does feel almost like it is sort of a primal fight, except just single player. And I don't really know if it is going to end up just being something really simple, but with it being such a, I don't know, such a talked about mecha in the history of Final Fantasy, and one that everybody's always wanted to see, I'm kind of hoping that it is maybe a little bit more complex than just like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
It would be fun though.
I mean, we do have New Game Plus too, but I hope that this is part of like why they added New Game Plus, right? Because people wanted to go back and do some of these solo kind of instanced fights, right? And it'd be nice to be able to just go and jump into it and not have to like restart at Ruby Weapon and then go through it and then get to that. And so I don't know, who knows? We'll see what they do with it. This one was interesting. The weekly restriction on Gift of the Archmagus, Primal Focus, and Unidentified Flying Object has been removed. So you could just spam all your proto accessories. You can get as many of those Crystal Tower upgrade items. Like, it's okay.
I feel like that was a long time coming.
Right.
Yeah. It's such a random little weird thing to just have in there. I'm like, oh yeah, those were quests once upon a time.
They were probably thinking like, what have people been doing to try and fill out the time, and what can we let them do more often so that they stick around in the game?
Yeah, I mean, but it is also funny because a lot of those items and things, no one really tries to even do or craft or get, or like,
it's weird because I mean, maybe, but it's
like
at the same time
stuff.
Yeah, Proto stuff is good.
So that's a good point for Proto Ultima. Yeah, but I mean, for the other stuff, like Blue Mage doesn't have. There's none of the new jobs even have weapons for Primal Focus. So that's okay. But it's just one of those random things. It's it's nice for new players starting off, but you can also easily get things that surpass those. So it's make it easy. Like, who cares? Whatever.
I wonder if this was like just a side effect of touching all the ARR stuff. Like they were like, you know what? While we're here, may as well.
I think that makes a lot of sense. They probably looked at that. They're like, what's this one NPC? Oh, right, those quests. Why are they still restricted? It's been a while.
Yeah, it makes it a little more consistent with the other stuff that they release and are like, okay, well, it's been 3 to 5 months. You don't have the cap on it anymore.
Yeah.
Or it's been 6 years or something. Like, they've been around for a while. So
3 months, 6 years, about the same.
Yeah, whatever. It all scales. New side story quests have been added, so we'll have the new custom deliveries. We'll have the quests for Faux Hollows coming. Beast Tribe, or I'm sorry, they're not Beast Tribe. Dwarfs are weird. I don't know how they Dwarf Tribe quests have been added, and so it's Dwarfin time.
Mighty
it's
Dwarfin
time.
It's so amazing.
It's Dwarfin time. I was reading. I was giving my wife the highlights, and I was like, "Oh, and then we got the dwarf tribe quest with it's Dwarfin time," and she's like, "What?"
I was actually surprised that they reverted back to separating out like 2 different beast tribes, one for crafter, one for gatherer. Because personally, as somebody who doesn't do a lot of craft and gathering, I kind of loved that they were all one for the Namazu. But I mean, I guess with all the stuff that we've had with Ishgard, I guess sort of separating those roles out does make sense to an extent. But we also have more ways to earn experience on both of those than ever before. So it was kind of strange to me until I kind of considered that they are adding in like experience gain for Boja for combat classes where you can actually earn like out of instance experience now. Because otherwise I was kind of sitting here going like, what can we please just put another one in that has combat classes because I've got so many to level, please. What are you doing?
I kind of hope that when we get back into the next expansion, whatever it is, they don't do this same thing. I'm kind of hoping that this is an isolated. We've been really focusing on crafting and gathering and making it easier and making it better for new people. And so this is special for new people this time around only.
They've been very heavy-handed with the land in hand stuff with 5.x, and it's nice, but at the same time, like the timing of it, I think isn't the pacing and the updates of it haven't been good for active players, right? Yeah. Because you just like you get right any expansion. The expansion comes out, you get your battle classes up, and then you start working on your crafting and your gathering. But then in was it 5.1 we had the gathering beast tribe dailies. But by that point, like most people probably had their stuff done. We had ocean fishing, which I did use ocean fishing, and after like 2 days I was capped again. Like it was really quick. And now, especially with crafting, I mean, Ishgard alone, I think is plenty incentive enough to help people get their crafts up. But now we have the new dailies here for that too. So it's nice to see. They have been doing a lot of quality of life stuff for it, but at the same time, it's like I kind of wish they did have another option for War and Magic here. But we did get the Pixies, right? So that's something at least, right, for dailies for Shadowbringers for non crafting and gathering classes. But
the Pixies have been so long though, and I was a little surprised, honestly, and even this past week because I was on vacation and everything else, like I got a little bit behind on some of the news that was coming out, and in my head I kept going like, oh, Tuesday Boja will be here, Boja will be here, Boja will be here.
Oh,
and
no.
Then I reviewed it this past week and I was talking to people on stream and I was like, oh my god, it's going to be in the 0.5. They're not changing anything. We're just going to be getting like new Ishgard and new story, and like all of that stuff is great and I'm really excited about it, but it does feel like we've had such a long focus overall on a lot of these patches with like the crafting gathering stuff and these other things that I think people are really hurting for, you know, some other repeatable content that is more, especially because, you know, raids aren't going to even be happening until later on. It's been tough. So I was a little surprised that they didn't, with like that 3-month delay, maybe rearrange some of this stuff to try to balance it out a little bit, or like push Boja sooner, but they are just sticking to that schedule. And hey, at the very least, the new Ishgard boy is a baby dragon, and that's the cutest thing ever, and I'm so into it, and he's a baby, and I love him.
Guys,
go ahead. I was gonna say,
okay.
Everybody's talking at the same time.
It was a tiny thing. Someone was like, man, but we don't get the glamour to dragon. And someone's like, well, what if we just put hats on it? I mean, that would have been...
Dude, I am here. I am here for that. That having been said, probably not given Hrothgar and Viera.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we could glamour hats on that dragon, but Viera and Hrothgar still couldn't wear certain headpieces? Yeah. Oh my god, I would be... That's like one of those, like, let me grab a chair and some popcorn and just browse the forums for days. Oh my god.
I feel like it would be easier because all they have to do is have the hat and go plop on his little head. There's no like ears or weird clipping or different hair.
But see, here's the thing. You have to decide which model the hat takes. You have a hat, but it has a different model for each race and each head type for each race. And there's a lot to it.
Not for the dragon. You just go.
You have to make it though. That's not how it works.
This one, plop.
Just even if it doesn't look good, he's still wearing a hat.
I mean, that would be adorable. That would be so cute.
Just floated.
Plus, I do really like that they are continuing, like, this is something they do so well, continuing narratives in, like, surprising or unique ways about the different parts of the world. So it's not just like, oh, Ishgard happened, and now I guess probably they're going to be friends with dragons. Like, we actually do get to see through some of this side content, the ongoing narrative of those parts of the world, like Ishgard rebuilding, the firmament, you know, these relationships that are still ongoing with like dragonkind. Like I really do appreciate that. And then it does open up a lot of opportunities down the road. I mean, like, will we see within the next expansion, you know, patch cycle, will we see that we get to do more with the Dome and Enclave or something like that, where we get to continually see the world that we've affected, like, continue to repair and rebuild? I think that's a neat touch.
Yeah. For sure. It
Uh,
bothers me still, like, slight tangent, that the firmament is basically them being like, we like adventurers, have some place to live. What about all the people in the broom, guys? Like,
Yeah.
fix that.
Yeah, it would be great if at the end of all of this, once like all of the Ishgardian restoration ends, like maybe that really sad, miserable scaffolding and slum area would get a little bit updated so we could
Interesting.
see
Yeah.
I
a
Probably
quality
not,
really-
but it'd be nice.
I really want to see whatever they decide to do for the first fan fest of this year, next year, whatever digital stream it's gonna be, right? We know it's gonna be a digital stream. I just want Yoshida to come out with a mic, just walk out on stage, and be like, so with 5.4, we're gonna finish Ishgard reconstruction, and it's gonna be instance housing, and you can upgrade the size. And he just drops the mic, and it's like a 30-second broadcast, and that's it. That's all I want. That's all I want from this is instance housing.
I'm hoping so much. I mean, it would even, like, if they did that, just think it'd be so good. Or if they moved something where, like, with instanced housing, it became something for, like, individual houses, and then the housing wards became, like, FC specific or something. And you could, like, you know, that land could be about, you know, having the company and the social stuff there with like a free company.
Just
And then like one company can have a house or something. Like it would be so nice just to like see some of that redistributed.
Make the current housing wards premium housing. I don't need a neighborhood. I do not need a neighborhood. They are not used for anything unless you're like super crazy into RP. They don't use them for events anymore. They used them for one event once, never again. Just give me a house. Like I don't need a neighbor. Like it's weird if I kick my ball into their yard, then I got to go over and ask for it, and it's awkward. Just give me an instance house. Let me upgrade it. You know, have it be in one of the islands over in Hingashi. Have it just have me pay to, you know, upgrade the island plot to a raccoon or something that can talk. Like just.
And I mean, they could do something with it too. Like a lot of games that have that instanced housing, you can still have people come over. Like we have estate teleportation, right? So there could be something where if you have like your Aetheryte on there, your friends could still come to see your house and you could still do housing tours or events at those houses. It's not like it would have to be a completely isolated thing, but it would be so nice. It'd be so nice if you could just upgrade it and have whatever.
Final Fantasy XI gives a Mog house to every single player. People can visit it.
It's teeny tiny.
You can add a second. You can add a second story to it now.
Okay.
It's a little rough. I mean, it's in, you know, an 18-year-old game. It's still a little rough. But how does 11 have this and we still can't get instance housing?
I think other games are probably a better comparison. The first one that comes to mind, since I've been playing it so much, is ESO.
There are other games.
You can own every house in that game as a player. You can have every single house, and you can teleport directly to it. It's all instant. Some of them have yards.
Yeah.
The beautiful song of your cat in the background is very good.
All right.
I was like,
very excited, very passionate about ESO housing.
Very. All right. So the other thing about ESO housing though is there is a limit to how many people can be inside of it. There is a limit for Final Fantasy houses now, but it's like in the hundreds, right? Whereas like I think ESO might be 25, which is very limited. So that's going to be the toss up, and that might piss off some RPers.
But like you said, though, the capabilities of what the houses can do in ESO is vastly different. And like, don't get me wrong, I also have a whole other discussion about their cash shop and how overpriced a lot of the stuff is with housing as far as that goes. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of dollars you can spend on these houses, which is crazy. But the nice thing is that like if you buy those houses, they have physical locations even on the map, so you can free teleport to them from anywhere and then use that to like wander around the map. You can place objects anywhere in the like you can float them in the air without having to glitch or cheat.
Yeah.
You can like do all kinds of stuff with them. I mean, it's
Turn
crazy.
them upside down. What?
Yeah.
I think the issue that we're seeing with like what some players want with 14 and the reality is that they can just be like, oh, we have the structure in place already. We don't need to change anything. We just change the location, we change the settings, and then it's like it's not copy paste, but it's like copy paste. You know what I mean? Like it's just they have this system, they have neighborhoods and wards, and it's just that's what it is, and they don't want to do anything else with it, which I get, but also I don't want it.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's proven to be impractical in the long run. And we've seen this. I mean, like, it's ridiculous to me. I've seen this on so many occasions. People who get into the game are excited or want a house or, whatever it is, or even long-term veteran players, or even other content creators and streamers who are trying to get a house or an FC house or anything. And it's next to impossible. And you cannot have a system in a game that makes players wait for sometimes 10 plus real hours standing, just like trying to find a place, a location, a plot that's for sale. And then that like question mark timer, you don't even know when the plot's going to be available. Like I have seen people forgo sleep. I've seen people just like sit there trying to get this house because they want to use it for whatever purposes they might, like whether it's RP or it's just a place to actually put all the items that they're getting in the game. It's a huge hurdle, especially in a market that has other games that have accessible housing that everybody can acquire through their own effort without having to wait 10 plus hours real time to just click a button or compete against other people and lose everything that they wanted with that. Like, it's a cute system and a nice idea, but it cannot scale with the amount of players and demand that the game has now, you know?
I love this game. I love the community. I love housing. But the system in place is bullshit. It really is. Like, when I moved to Gilgamesh, right? So on Hyperion, I had a medium plot. I had the one in the Goblet that's right on the edge. It was like, I had my own little private pool. It was awesome. But I have more people I knew on Gilgamesh. So I'm like, all right, I'll move. What? It's a house versus playing with people I know. Okay. So I get to Gilgamesh. I need to find a plot that's vacant. The number of nights I would just sit there on the couch. I had 2 TVs, right? So we'd watch TV and I would just sit there just doing this, right? With the numpad 0 and whatever, just spamming these things. And it got to the point where I had to stop because my hand was cramping up.
Yeah.
Several nights. Like, nobody should have to do that. Like, it's so stupid. It's such a stupid system. If they would just add instance housing, problem solved. I don't need the neighborhood. The neighborhoods are useless for most players.
In the beginning, it was much easier to get a house.
Because nobody had the money.
Much more slowly. Exactly. People didn't have the money to do it. And then they lowered the prices on the housing because people were complaining about it. Maybe if they hadn't have done that, people would have been able to trickle into the market more slowly.
But honestly, I wouldn't particularly care for that either. I feel like something, especially in a game that does have so many social features that are a big draw, right? Like 14 has so much with character customization, the way you can express yourself in the world. Furnishings have become an active reward for so many different things, including like beast tribes and content and all sorts of stuff. And for crafters and gatherers, you can make so much of it, which is really great. And you can like sell it. To limit something like housing in a game that has such a huge social component and draw to it, and such an active RP community, to being something where only the extremely, extremely wealthy can acquire it, and it becomes this like status thing. And if you don't have the hours or, the time that you want to sink into just hoarding money in this game, like I would not care to see that either. I don't think that would be a good system either, because
I would argue that it wealth isn't a factor as much as luck, and that aspect of it is what sucks. It's not the money. Saving up money gives you.
No. I'm talking about in Zen's envisioning.
I see. Okay.
How it initially was. I'm not. It's not even my envisioning. That is Yoshi P's initial envisioning.
That's how it was. Yeah.
Yes, he said that he wanted it to be limited. He said he wanted it to be limited, and over time, the things that they've done, like you said, they make furniture a reward for stuff. They lowered the prices on housing. They've purposefully over time made it a thing that's not limited, but they didn't change the initial system at all. So they made it more available, but did not actually make more product. The supply and demand did
They
not
gave us
happen.
they gave us apartments. Like,
I mean,
all
apartments,
right.
I guess that's true. Apartments, new wards, new housing districts. Like, those were ways they were trying to combat it. But again, the influx of players' interest and those who are able to acquire properties doesn't
Yeah.
match what we have.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, apartments where they're like half band-aid to the systematic issue of it, right? Because it's like, okay, people want to be able to put these items in something. Okay, great. So we'll add apartments. We can add a whole bunch of them, and you don't have to worry about yards and all this stuff. But also they don't have yards. Okay. So like with Stormblood, they're like, oh, so we have like Hingashi's, just like these chain of small islands and stuff. So like 11, right? We already get our own little personal house. We can upgrade it to get a second story. We also have our own private islands in 11 where we can grow stuff and raise animals and crap. Why can't you just give us an island in Hingashi, throw a plot on it, let us upgrade it? It's a gill sink, get way more gill out of the economy. Done.
I think that they would blow up their own instance servers. I think that is their problem. They can't instance housing because no one would be able to do a dungeon. Ralbon Extreme.
Could be.
You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
But housing. You would never be able to get into your house.
But
You know?
we have seen them, though. We have seen them address some of that instancing, because I mean, the release of Shadowbringers, like, let's be real, it was probably one of the smoothest releases of an MMO I have ever witnessed.
Yeah.
And like, they were doing tests and all of the data center restructuring for ages before the actual X-Pack hit. So I mean, obviously we still have 5.3 to discuss. This is all like very future stuff, but
patch notes.
I know, right? Patch notes. But I mean, I do think that's why people are maybe hoping that something like Ishgardian instance housing isn't completely out of the realm of possibility at this point, because I think they have been restructuring to try to deal with this, but we just don't know if it's going to be enough, or if it's even something that's high on their priority list, or if they just want to keep adding housing wards, or what they're going to do with it. So
yeah, they may be under the impression that if we add as many wards to Ishgard as there are in, Kugane or whatever, then everybody will be fine. They're wrong.
The problem will be solved for a day and a half.
Yeah.
Or an hour after the patch, either one.
And plus, it is, as somebody who is a huge housing enthusiast, it is super frustrating to want to sink a ton of time into it. But then, like, if the only property you can get is an apartment or a small or a medium or whatever, right? And you just don't have the item limit to really be able to realize half the stuff that you want or see on all of the housing forms and things, like, that's a whole nother debate. So yeah, I think that it is something where, like, they need to find a better way to do this that will enable players to upgrade their houses to sizes they want, and or like get properties that they want and have the things that they want in there. Because I mean, honestly, it's nothing but good publicity for the game when you see how creative people are being with it and how they are sharing that, and then other people see it and then they want to get involved. It's just facilitating your player base to, I think, spread the word about the game and get engaged in a different way, which is really cool and it's great to see. But it's tough when people can't get involved who might want to, because they just can't get a property to do it,
To wrap it all the way back around, the thing that I was actually initially going to say when we first started about housing was, as a person with 5 houses, please don't murder me, I would be okay with them taking the neighborhoods away 100%, as long as they just automatically gave me that instance. I do not want to have to sit there and re-get my 5 instances.
Right. Yeah.
And I think if they didn't, there would be an uproar.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the problem. They have to put in this system on top of the already broken system. So someone's going to be upset. I don't know who. But, like, if they're
Probably
like, if they leave everything the same and just add instance housing, then okay. But you kind of had to have that idea in the first place to not, affect everyone.
I think they could do a really...
Just like, give me a voucher, man.
Yeah.
Give me a voucher that's like, you automatically get 2 larges, 2 mediums, and a small. It's good, go.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how they would do that. Like, it's instance housing. Just pay the money and get another instance. Like, I don't know why. If it was truly instance housing, why would they even...
I think what they could do, I mean, the way that they've been working on housing, right, since it came out, I think keep what's there, right? we
I
can
think we need to
have
stop talking
it
about housing.
have the housing be like a premium, current housing could be like a premium housing thing. Keep the neighborhoods fine, but give us an alternative that doesn't have all that. We don't need the neighborhoods. Just give us an island with a raccoon that we pay to upgrade our plot when we want to. That's all. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, we'll have to see, because here with the next Ishgardian, so obviously we were talking about custom deliveries and all the stuff that we're going to be getting with new Ishgard, but I'm sure we'll get more of a picture of what they're going to try and do with this as we continue to reveal that ward. So we'll see.
Hopefully there's a surprise. That'd be nice. Main scenario quests for A Realm Reborn have been revamped. I hit the button.
Thank you.
Everyone's like, what? Don't worry, I hit the button. That's all you need to know. So yeah, they've changed a whole bunch of this stuff. We don't know the extent of the changes, how many quests they removed, what they changed. It's not in here. But if you are in the middle of a quest that they changed, when you log in, you'll have this nice red text that says, "Hey, this quest has been adjusted. Please abandon the quest and go restart it." So if you're in the middle of A Realm Reborn, you might need to go back and do that. But other than that,
it'll be good. It'll be good. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be like, "What? I was already working on this," and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, it's easier. Never mind. It's fine." It's fine.
Right. Mounts can now fly in A Realm Reborn areas.
Yay!
I'm excited. I'm super excited for this. I'm really curious in some of these, like the picture that you have as the example is Mordona. Like, I'm really curious where they put the borders for, like, you can't fly here. Like, there's just this big invisible wall around the keeper of the lake.
It's like, do not go here.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. I mean, I think it's going to be so nice. It's going to be so nice. Yes. And they have confirmed, obviously, with the patch notes here, that they retooled sort of the acquisition quest for flying and stuff, which I'm also glad about. But, I mean, unless anybody knows anything specifically, I believe we'll still have all of our Aether currents we have to collect elsewhere. But ARR flight will be unlocked just automatically when you finish that main story, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit bummed as a person who liked to glitch and go outside the map and screw around and look at what they did outside the map.
Gosh, I remember doing that in one of the shrouds. I think it might have been during beta, but like even after launch, like you could get into some pretty interesting places.
But it will be nice. It will be nice to not have to, like, especially in places like Mordona where it's like central thing over here, to not have to go all the way around.
I'm
theoretically just go directly.
I'm more curious about just like how it looks, right? Because like obviously they had to update things, but there still might be some oddities here and there, right? Potentially. So I just want to see how it looks. Like I'm really curious just from
hope
overhead.
They didn't take the map that's already there and just put directly invisible walls up, because that kind of kills the point of not having to go the long way around to get somewhere and just flying,
But at the same time,
because then you still have to go around. No, but then you still have to go the long way around. You're just in the air.
But you're in the air and you're going faster.
It's true.
Which then completely invalidates those chocobo map things.
Yeah, they already bumped up the speed.
Those were weird to begin with.
I mean, I think it'll be good no matter what, because there are some areas in the ARR zones where, I mean, there are little, like, small ground obstacles that are so unnecessary and so frustrating that you have to, like, beep around just to try and get to wherever you want to go. So I think that flying, no matter what, will at least let you get over those. But it will be interesting to see, because there are a lot of areas in, like, the original zones that I thought to myself, man, I really would love to see this from the perspective of flying, because while they hadn't built those maps with the verticality in mind, I mean, later on, especially in Heavensward, verticality became such a big part of how we even, like, visually get to, like, see or have, like, the vistas or, like, the big pans of different areas, that I think it'll be really neat to be able to actually just see a little bit higher some of those maps and the designs and some of the calamities effects, which also is really neat. But if there's a bunch of just, like, very intense invisible walls, we'll see. It'll
be nice for places like Central Shroud that actually does have quite a number of cliffs. Go and hang out with me at the Ixali in Western Shroud. North Shroud? North Shroud. Yeah. And And to be like, haha, I can fly. I did it before you.
Wow,
I-
that's
yeah.
that's mean. That's
That's
very
hilarious.
mean.
Zen's like, oh, I'm so excited about ARR flying so I can go mock other races that don't fly, like the Ixali. Yay!
Listen, they made me do a whole lot of work on that airship, and I don't even see them using it. So
Yeah.
And then you go back and you're like, hey, you used to have wings, but you were also genetically engineered slaves for the Alligans. Oh,
oh, I'm sorry.
oh.
I just want to
Sorry.
know if I can fly from Costa del Sol.
I'm the mean one.
Oh,
That's
Albino, that's
yes,
a good point.
that.
Like that's what I was gonna say.
What?
Can we fly from Wineport to Costa del Sol and back? Right?
Please.
That's the biggest one that I remember.
Please.
Just invisible
Like,
I don't
walls
wanna
right
spend that
down the
40
middle of
gil.
the map.
There's
yeah,
also
like are they
that-
gonna put the wall?
There's also that one, oh, what is it? There's like, I'm trying to think. I feel like it's part of the borderlands of the Shroud, and you have like there's a little Kakirn, and you have to go past him, and then it takes you to that
yeah.
other portion of the map. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is that like
That's
outer
also
limit?
Lenosia.
No.
That's also
outer. Is it
Yeah.
outer or upper?
It's one
I
of
think
those.
it's outer because the upper one is higher.
I think
right?
it's
Yeah.
I think it's outer. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see those, like those ones where you had to take a ferry or something like that. Because if they could
Yeah.
just open those, that would be really what it's about, right? You know,
I just think
so
it's funny that both of these are in Lenosia. It's like, I wonder if we could finally skip the BS
Yeah.
and just A to
Looks
B.
like it's upper.
Someone's saying
Okay.
upper. Okay. Interesting.
I just remember that area and being like, why do I have to do this? Why?
I'm really curious how this works. Like, I want my expectations to be blown, but I think realistically, like, if it is just a bunch of like stupid invisible walls, I also wouldn't be surprised. Like, that's
Right.
what I'm expecting. I'll be completely honest. I'm expecting that these areas were not designed for flight. The fact that we're getting flight is insane. If they go the extra mile and we can do, Wineport to Costa, awesome. Am I expecting it? Kind of on the fence
I'm
for that
doing
one.
a flip flop from my normal. Usually, when stuff comes out and people are like, I don't know, I'm like, no, just wait until it comes out and we'll see. And I'm already like, it's flying, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be great for new players once they get past it to immediately be able to fly in the zone will be nice.
Mhm.
I mean, for us, it's like at long last, but for new players, it'll just make sense, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It was long past due, I think. And I mean, nobody was really expecting it either, though, because
No.
everybody was like, oh, they'll probably keep us on the ground, especially for new players, so that like there are reasons for people to have to be down on the map or like jump in to help somebody or, which I do
Yeah.
love. But at the same
Hmm.
time, like, I'm glad that they are doing this and I'm glad that we're getting it. And even if it's a bunch of walls, hey, it's better than nothing. So, I mean, I don't think anybody expected that they would put it in. And they hadn't talked about it a ton before we heard about it, with some of the stuff coming
They
up.
just like casually dropped it. Yeah, like, oh yeah, and you can fly in ARR zones. Oh. Okay.
all right.
Neat.
I'll take it.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see if people start to do old hunts in ARR more now.
Yeah.
Because
That's
now you don't
another
have
side.
to.
Oh
to
man,
just,
that is
know?
a little nice.
Maybe. I mean, the thing is though, is that I think they would need to up some of the rewards again. Like
Yeah.
there are those like I loved the unique armor sets that they did in ARR for the different grand companies. And I was actually surprised when we I mean, obviously, like with Heavensward, you can get like the Domain sets for hunt currencies and things like that. But I was really hoping that they would continue, like each expansion, to create some new grand company set that you could like then earn as you like worked your way. I always thought that would be super cool. So maybe someday if they, increase
Grand
some of the stuff
companies,
with the
yeah,
hunt.
they really fell by the wayside after 2.0.
Yeah.
6.0, if we're in a war, grand companies make sense. Give us more, like levels to it. Just saying.
Look,
it just
I mean,
makes sense.
they've spent so much time working on gathering and crafting in this. What if in the next expansion we're just like, hey, remember grand companies? This is the grand company expansion.
It could be.
Remember what was it? Signet, Sigil, whatever the hell that stupid bonus
Whichever one
thing
it
was.
isn't in
Oh my
11,
gosh!
right?
Right? Yeah, right. There's like 5 different ones in 11. It's ridiculous. Anyway, let's see. Various quest changes. We don't need to read every single one of these, or we'll be here all day. New chapters for New Game Plus. So we've got all of the different class quests being added, as well as all of the quests for Disciple of the Land in Hand. So if you want to go back and do those, you can. So that's
I'm
nice.
super glad about that, honestly, because I, in the quest for the Amaro, level skipped a whole bunch of classes. I level skipped a whole bunch of classes. So I'm excited to be able to go back and actually do like see the quests for them just thematically now.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
you know, if you do the math and do like how much you get hourly at your job, it's probably cheaper for you to just buy the level skip. Just saying, at least back in the day. It's like, you know what, I would make more money otherwise, so it's fine.
I mean, yeah, it's like
My time
once
is money.
once you've learned the core components of like a type of role,
Yeah.
it's not that hard
Yeah.
to look at that role and be like, okay, so this is the attack that I use for this and that thing, and that's going to be my damage up, and this is going to be the, and so
Oh,
ain't
for me,
nobody got time for 1 to 60.
it's not a judging thing. I'm
Yeah.
not judging you.
Sure
Absolutely.
then. Mhm.
I'm not. Oh, wow. Okay.
Mhm, yeah,
No,
sure.
no, it's not. I'm not. I'm jealous. I'm jealous because I did spend all of that time gaining all that XP and it was painful. I'm jealous that you treat yourself better than I treat myself.
Wow.
You know, that's the thing in MMOs. It's like the time versus money. You know, like if you have more time, then do the time thing. If you have more money, then do the money thing. That's why they make money, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
Maybe-
usually do try to get at least I mean, I did a lot of them just the hard way,
Yeah.
but it does become one of those things for me personally that like this is just my personal choice that I would rather spend my time and energy in the game doing other things than just grinding leveling,
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
that's totally fair.
So
Yeah.
for me personally, I was like, yeah, I love the level skips. Thank you, Square Enix.
Yeah.
Thank you for these.
Yeah.
Let's see. Leaves. Remember leaves? Those were a thing. You can
Right,
now
yeah.
initiate and abandon leaves while riding them out.
Okay.
Yay.
Cool.
Sure.
I mean, I guess the initiate would be cool if people still did them.
I
Yeah.
remember leaves.
Every once in a while I think about it like, hey, you know what? If I'm gonna level that class, I could do some wait. Not in Shadowbringers, I don't think. So
No, they're
because
not
there's no
really.
battle leaves. So
Weren't there?
yeah. Are there? I couldn't
I don't
find them.
know.
I mean, I have not done them.
I mean,
I
there's.
don't
I
know.
know there's crafting and gathering leaves. Are there really not
Yeah.
battle leaves?
I don't remember. I remember I was looking for it and I found the crafting and gathering and I'm like, oh, it must be somewhere else. And then I just decided to dungeon instead. So I was like, I don't care.
Huh.
Mm.
Chat's saying there are not. And okay.
Yeah, because I couldn't find them. I was like, I don't know where these are, so I'll just do dungeons.
I think with 6.x, I think they need to bring back relevancy for grand companies
Yes.
and guild tests.
No.
That's
I
like terrible idea. What is wrong
No.
with you?
Remember guild
I
tests?
mean-
I remember guild tests.
Guild
I
tests,
hate them.
guild tests and leaves. The unfortunate thing about both of them is that they are just completely useless at this point. And like I'll tell people sometimes, I'm like, at least with guild tests, the very first time that you go through them, like if you're a new player to the game and it's your first time, like the first time you go through them, you're gonna learn basic things about fighting in Final Fantasy. And you do get an experience boost for the very first time that you do that, guild test. But I mean, other than that, the guild test, even the guild test roulette, is completely useless. Like
It
I-
really is.
I've said this before. I don't know why they don't bundle in the guild tests like with the mentor roulette and then move like the extreme primals out of mentor roulette into some other thing. I don't know. It's
guild
just like,
tests were the novice hall before the novice hall existed. That's
Yeah.
what it was. And then they just kept them around.
and leaves in theory should be a great alternative way to like, yes, each expansion
Mhm.
get experience on those combat classes. But now, I mean, if we're going to be getting experience from things like, Boja, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Like, I really do
Yeah.
love that they're doing that because I think we do have kind of a gap right now where it is really arduous to level alt classes. And like, it just takes so long. And even with 1 to 50, Palace is helpful. But like, other than that, there's just not really a lot of optional stuff that you can do. Your
I got it.
roulettes, your like
got
run
it.
the highest level dungeon.
You ready? You ready for this? You ready for this?
Not sure.
Unreal guild tests.
I mean,
I quit. I'm out.
you joke, but like, aren't guild tests just the mass carnival anyway? Like, you make Guildhest smaller and you get the Mass Carnival, right?
Guildhests are
There's
like
challenges
they're
just
like
Guildhest.
weird battle solo instances, but like with Duty Finder.
Right. But what I'm saying is that it was just a challenge level, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all they were. And they taught you. So why not just make them more challenging? Like, you're looking for content and things like that. They're like 5-minute dungeons. Like, that's awesome. If they had a bonus, everybody would love to do them.
5-minute dungeons
like,
with a 20-minute queue.
Yeah. See, if they were better to do, like if they gave you better things, then there wouldn't be a 20-minute queue, because everyone's like, oh, I could just do this for my almost expert amount of the current tomes. Cool. Done.
The amount of tomes you get from and the amount of experience you get from like running that as a roulette is like, why? What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why does this exist?
There's no reason to run them.
terrible.
Absolutely no reason to run them.
I would almost
rewards
rather
are
them
terrible.
I'd rather them just like, I don't know, even if they repurpose some of the Guildhest stuff, I don't know. But like if they just got rid of Guildhest, got rid of Left, or Leaves, and then made them like, I don't know, if you're gonna have something like that, maybe make some kind of content that's like for FCs or something. Like in Guild Wars 2, for example, you have guild missions that you can do. And every week there's like a little rotation of them. And some of them are super dumb and super fun. Like you get turned into a chicken and you have to run through an obstacle course while things are trying to kill you. And your guild mates have to like run alongside you to try and protect those of you who have been turned into chickens. Like,
that sounds great.
It's super fun. Like you can take some of those, I mean, even assets or ideas or whatever from Guildhests or Leaves.
This is the 5.x Hildebrand content that we need.
Right.
You could make them something that could be repurposed, so they could be like initiated by an FC or something, and then maybe you get bonus experience, or you get like there's something that you get from it. I don't know. I think there's a way to reuse that or just dump it completely, because at this point I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
just get rid of it. People coming into the game, they're like, what the hell are these things? And everyone's like, I don't know. They were a thing like 6 years ago. I don't know what they are now. Are they still here? Wow, that's weird. Okay, great. New rewards have been added for the Zonderskin treasure maps. They've also changed stuff for Dungeons of Lihigia. Item level will also now be synced to 505.
Interesting.
So,
I wish there was some sort of indicator, some sort of new indicator as to what level of the maps are, just by the name of them. Because you could say Zonderskin, and I'm like, is that... Well, which one is that? Is that a new one? Is that from FFXIV? I don't know.
That's fair. Yeah.
I don't know.
No idea. Yeah.
Zonderskin is our most recent. Well,
that is the most recent.
Yeah. I was like, wait, hold up, because Gazelle skin were Stormblood. Like this is a
why are they over here updating 3.x maps? This is weird.
Like this is a problem that 14 has in a lot of regards, where they name stuff like completely unrelated to the thing that they are supposed to be related to. So you're like, okay, so it's the coin this name is, and it's the map that's name. It has nothing to do with the actual instance that we got. And it's
or they have just like 5,000 different like potion of dexterity items. And you're like, okay, so which one do I want?
I actually accidentally bought like a potion or an infusion the other day instead of the tincture or something, just because I was like, oh, this one's the latest. It's not.
Okay. Full disclosure, I am not crazy on like extremes and savage, but I have been doing a once every week static for a couple months now. This past week, I realized I had been using like this stupid low level dexterity potion.
Oh no!
And then I discovered like the tinctures. And I was like, I'm dumb. Like, oh my god! Because you search dexterity or whatever, and you're like, okay, yeah, that one looks high. Oh, there's one that's like 3 times as strong. Cool. Like, I wish there was a better way to figure that out.
My thing is, I have a supplier. So they just make me whatever they happen to know is the highest one, and I just pull it out of my mailbox, right? So I don't remember what it's called. I just
mail order potions. Wow, that's a solid.
So when I ran out, he was like, I don't have any more right now. Just buy like 10 or so, and I'll make some more later. I'm like, okay. So I went and I bought the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I am excited to see. I mean, I'm sure we're probably going to have some kind of new crafted cosmetic sort of thing that's going to become the new hot item, right?
Yeah.
That's why I shared.
Yeah,
probably the Hawaiian shirt.
It's here. It's down there. Yeah.
Yeah, But I do actually really like treasure maps, and I think they're really fun content. And thinking about things that you can do with your FC, or like that you can run even in patch lulls, like they are such an easy, accessible thing to just get people in. And oh boy, do I love the gil return! Like, because if you are not somebody who is inherently like a crafter or gatherer yourself that does a lot of that to like earn gil, like treasure maps are one of the best ways just to get money from, you know, something that lets you do a vaguely, you know, combat related content.
Even if you don't get a portal pop.
Yeah,
it's not a terrible money drop from just outside.
No, not at all. So I am always glad that they update that. We'll do some more for sure in our group. So
yeah, I definitely wish there was more ways for combat classes to make money in that way. You know,
They need to implement stealing like ESO.
There you go. New craftable items have been added to the company workshop. There's a new house glamour.
Yeah.
So if
Is
you're
it
somebody
cute?
that has a, I mean, it's a little industrial-ish.
I'm trusting Rook's faith here. She's like,
it looks kind of like like a foundry.
It
Like
looks
a
exactly
factory.
like the machinist building.
Machinist building.
You know what?
Yeah,
and if actually if you look up at the very, very, very top, there's an anvil.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a workshop. Yeah.
Which is cool. That's great for RP. Like, you know, people who are
I don't want a
yeah,
restaurant. I don't want to sell things. I want a metalworks.
Yeah. It's really
I
awesome.
don't want my house to look like a paisa. I just want a metalworks. And so now you can.
Yeah.
If you have submarines, your submersible rank has been increased up to 75. New destinations have been added. More items can be obtained from voyages. So there you go. More submarine stuff.
I'm so not caught up on those guys.
Right?
I think I talked about this in a different episode. It took me like 3 days to make all of the pieces for a sub all by myself. We can make them by ourselves now, but it sure does take 3 days to gather everything.
Back in the day when I was still on Hyperion, it was like me and just a handful of people in this free company, and we had, you know, all the we had the subs, we had the airships. Every so often, you know, they'd update the content and be like, all right, I guess I'll open up a shouts or something. Be like, can I just get somebody? You could be level 1 weaver. It doesn't matter. I just need to make these airship parts. Like I just need people. I need bodies.
Just stay in here with me, please.
It was super weird. They'd all just sit there like naked with like a needle equipped, and it was just like, okay, here's your money. Now get out. Super weird.
Fusion's content choice.
That was a little darker night. I intended it to be.
Today's 18 plus, not safe for podcast.
Here's your money. Get out.
Here's your money. Get out of here.
Speaking of which, lovely transition. Pudding flesh is now available from Grand Companies. If you want that for anything. New furnishings have been added from the furnishing design contest. Some really cool looking stuff in here.
Yeah.
There's like the little like indoor like pond thing. Like I'm all for that. I'm gonna get one of those. That's really cool. I like that.
I like the yurt.
The yurt.
Yeah, I love the yurt.
Oh
there's
my gosh,
also
it's so good.
there's an outdoor oven with a pizza.
Yeah.
Food furnishings in this patch. Fantastic. They have an outdoor brick oven with pizzas, and they have a little plate with a beaver burger.
Burger.
It has
I really like that they put in as well. Like so many people have like custom made window seat book nook kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's actually one in now that's like an entire piece that has that sort of like marble border, so it matches the set of walls that they also released. So that's cute if you want to maybe save on 50 items in your housing that you would have to otherwise put together. You can just use one now.
You can also, I think that's going to be a really great piece because you could probably glitch a table into that if you don't want to use it as a nook and just like have a little shelf in there.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
I like it.
There's also again this second image just keeps delivering pipes.
Pipes.
Wall decoration.
Pipes.
For your factory.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to glitch that metal shower head to try and make it look like pipes on the wall. And now you will just have pipes on the wall, especially with the, and we'll get to this later, but the new near housing furnishings. And they have these kind of like old cracked windows that they added it. Like, I'm digging it. I'm loving it. Give me the aesthetic. I'm so down.
I didn't even realize those weren't part of the building.
Yeah,
we'll get to that. It's I have thoughts. But yeah, like I'm super stoked. Like, there's some really cool stuff in these.
I love this really uber fancy curtain.
There's also the curtain. Yeah, there's just like the more you look at these, the more things you find. It's like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cute.
Some cool stuff.
And I like that they link the furniture design contest results too, because if you look at something and you're like, I don't know what that is, you can scroll through there and be like, that's what that is. It's all from there.
Yeah. So right below this, new furnishings have been added. So we'll start with the simpler one first. It's just you have your little wooden walkway thing and a tree. Which, okay, that's cool. Like, I love the little wooden walkway thing to put over like the pond, right? I think that would be awesome for that.
Yeah.
And then you have this thing from Nier, which is like so there's very few furnishings that make me go, why would anybody want this in their house? Or something that just seems super out of place, like 2.0. Like, I think of like the weird clamshell fountain thing. It's huge, it's awkward. 5.x, now you have this giant rusty door corner with a bench and a light.
I'm curious if it's all one unit or if those are all pieces. Because if it's pieces, it's going to be great. Like, I do actually, as somebody who's tried to do, like, I've been trying to do some industrial builds because I've got a character who's an Ishgardian. So this is my big nerd time. So I've been trying to do some like of those more industrial builds, and it is hard to find those pieces. I mean, whether or not you're glitching shower pieces up into the wall, or you're trying to like get the like the few Allegan type things that we have into it. I'm glad to have more of this kind of like rusty metal metallic look, but I can't tell if it is all one enormous piece.
Yeah. So I would guess there's 3, 4, 5, like, so they have like the big door thing, right, with the wall. That's one piece, definitely. They have little pillars on the side, could be part of that, or could just be pillars. Then you have the fence thing with the light, that has to be one piece, because they wouldn't show you, a wall-mounted light glitching on a furnishing wall like that, unless you can mount stuff on the fence thing, which would be cool. There's a bench, and then there's also this little railing kind of on the left side there. So there could be a handful of items in here. Hard to say which are part of other ones or not. So some odd choices. There's no way that's one piece. If it's one piece, it's like, why? What? Why? Okay.
Yeah.
That
and like,
weird.
Are these all outdoor or indoor, or are they?
These are indoor. So these are all. Well, there's no hybrid. There's no hybrid outdoor indoor furnitures. So they're showing it inside. So it's definitely 100% inside. Which now makes me think, oh my god, could you imagine if they had a Nier house glamour with like the robots, and they have the Paisa house, they have the Otter house, the Moogle house. Give us like the little robot dude as a house glamour.
That would be fun. My guess is that they might, I don't know, we have no idea. And I'm sure people will still do really cool stuff, even if it is one piece, because you can glitch walls into it and all sorts of things, right? But I'm curious if it's going to be something that like are item drops, or if it's like alternative stuff for us to spend the raid currency on.
Yes. I like that. That's what it's going to be.
That would be really nice. That would be really
out of that in chest. If they don't give us another outfit out of the in chest, they're just like, here's a set of five things.
There wasn't there a mount in the trailer? So that's I would. Oh no, there was the Nier mount, the little fighter jet thingy. Wasn't there?
Okay,
or am I just imagining that?
I've never played it, so I don't know if that's what they would look like if they were from Nier. But I'm like, we're also doing Sapphire Weapon, and it's a lone thing, so maybe it's for that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I could absolutely be wrong. Like I don't know Nier. It
would make sense,
like,
I think.
Exactly from that. As far as
what Rook said, I think it would make sense to have it as a the jet is from the relic weapon area. Okay, my bad. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I would see them adding more stuff to use the currency for to incentivize people to go back and do copied factory more. Obviously, you'll still need to do copied factory to get the item from that, and then get the item from the new one to upgrade gear. But Yeah, they've done that before with Evilly's had that, I think, for you could get something for it. I feel like it's orchestrion rolls or something, maybe, or maybe I'm thinking of the 8-man. 8-man had that too, where you could use stuff. There's all sorts of stuff that they've kind of done something along those lines with.
I just want that rusty bench outside. Like, why, like if it's going to be inside, because I'm imagining that workshop, a dilapidated old workshop with a rusty bench outside because there used to be workers.
Well, this is a nice, clean, upkept workshop. This isn't,
right.
we take pride in our workshops. This isn't some...
Yeah. And I would want that fence outside too, just to fence off areas. It would be cool. So if it's just inside, I mean, okay, but...
I have no idea what I would use that like fencing wall thing for, but I'm really into it. I think that's
I'm curious if the light is attached or if it functions as a partition and you can just hang stuff from it.
Right.
It's probably part of it. It would be my thought.
Yeah. I thought they would be separate. I thought the light would be its own thing.
It would be really interesting to have a fence partition indoors. That seems odd to me. But we'll find out in a few days. It's coming up really quick. Fiera and Hrothgar mannequins are now available. Okay. I didn't realize they weren't, but sure. Why not?
We still don't have all of them, right?
That's got to be it. If they're adding Fiera and Hrothgar now, wouldn't that be all?
Not necessarily.
That'd be my guess, but
I don't know. I would definitely have.
Why would they add the two newest races if they hadn't finished the other ones?
Why do they do anything they do?
Yeah,
I mean, especially with mannequins, that's a very good question. Mannequins is such a weird. Oh, mannequins. I think fellowships were made by the same person that decided how mannequins worked.
Look, no. You cannot lump those two together because here's the thing. While the mannequins are backwards and nonsense, as far as like sometimes how you have to like deal with them or like negotiate them or stuff like that, I have found they are so good for housing.
Right.
Yeah.
You can do all sorts of stuff like hanging weapons on walls. I mean, granted, we could just get a furnishing item that's just like a weapon.
But if you display the weapon on the mannequin, it takes a cell slot. Like, why? I don't want to sell gear sets off my mannequin. Like, that's not a thing. I just want a mannequin to put crap on. Why do you have to add other functionality that we didn't ask for?
I mean, the one thing that's good about that is that for RP purposes, you can actually be like a tailor.
Yes.
And put stuff on the mannequins, and then people can walk up and like buy from your store, which is nice, right?
Okay.
But that's
for all three people that actively do that. That's great.
I would like to see someone come in and just buy all the boots from your mannequins, not everything else, because I'm assuming that you can buy one thing at a time. Because I've never interacted with a mannequin.
Why the boots? Why is that the one that you go for? I would think the pants. I think the pants would be funnier.
That's more.
You just come in, you log in, you come in, and all your mannequins just don't have pants all of a sudden. You're like, what?
Well, that's more noticeable.
Yeah, I like the enigma of only taking the boots.
Right.
It kind of is like a mystery.
Yeah. It's something that you don't notice, and then eventually they'll be like, why? Huh.
So the ones I wasn't sure if we had were Rogadin and Lalafell, and pulling it up on gamerscape.com, there's a picture of Rogadin and Lalafell. So
I think they were recent, I want to say.
Yeah.
Or Mikote were recent. I remember just
Mikote
seeing
was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember.
And everybody was like, why?
Yeah.
It's like, why don't they just have all of them at what? This is weird. Okay. Man, mannequins are so weird, man. Housing team, I don't know what they're thinking. Some odd trains of thought on the housing team. Newer Accessory and rolls have been added. Probably going to get a handful from the raid. We'll probably get whatever that super anime mech song is from Sapphire Weapon stuff. We'll probably get that new banging Amarant vocal track. That's the one that's going to cost like several million, and I'm just not going to care and buy it anyway. New seed for flower pots. If you do flower pots. Also, if you do gardening, you can now grow Allegan melons.
It's so cute.
And so going back, it was either last week or the week before, we had talked about seasonal events, and I said there was a watermelon minion. I'm like, oh, that's probably from the seasonal event. It's probably from your garden.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing that they do. So if you want a watermelon minion, start growing your
Why is
Allegan
there a
melons.
pickaxe next to this garden?
It's like a weird pickaxe, like
It's like a
kind of
hoe.
bow. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
We lost
Somebody...
Zen.
Where'd she go? The
she questioned the
cams.
pickaxe.
No, the cams.
You don't question the pickaxe.
Oh no.
That's what we just learned.
My cams.
See with your special eyes. There we go.
Oh.
It's really
Oh.
It's only worked out.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah, so for those tuning in live, so what happens is the way that the cams are set up, it's just a screen capture. So if somebody drops, everything gets hosed around. So the reason why Rook is half Rook and half Zen right now is because the two of them are next to each other on the cam setup. So when Zen drops, Rook just gets shifted on the screen. So that's why we had half and half. Little behind the scenes info for
my
there.
final poem.
Fusion.
What we have learned
What?
is that you do not question the pickaxe. That's the last thing you said, and then you disconnected.
Yeah, you're
Just
right.
saying.
My bad, Screen.
Look,
Sorry.
if they want to use that for gardening, who are you to judge? All right. Gold Saucer updates. The average wait time will no longer be displayed when queuing for Chocobo races.
Probably because it was too bleak.
Okay. That's sad. New cards have been added to Triple Triad, and there are new NPC opponents to face. If you're one of those Mahjong people, an explanation of the POW penalty will be displayed when triggered, and the position of the cursor when selecting tiles with a gamepad has been adjusted. So for all you hardcore Mahjong players, we know you're out there.
I saw someone playing it because I wasn't going to play it. Like, I watched someone, and they were doing it with a controller, and the cursor was over like one of the dots, and I'm like, doesn't that not help you? Like, isn't that weird?
That seems a little the game's like trying to like trick you. It's like, no, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the standard location to put the cursor, I guess, and they just needed to change it.
Right. All right, getting into some new stuff. Faux Hollows has been added. Hanging out over here in Idleshire. Remember Idleshire? I remember Idleshire. And so this will work with the Unreal Trials. We're getting Shiva Unreal. And so once a week, players can speak to the Faux commander after completing an Unreal trial to gain access to Faux Hollows, which is a mini game that you play with various rewards. So it looks like there's a currency attached to it. It's hard to tell.
It's Scrying from ESO.
There's just like a little mini game, and it's okay. We'll translate for you. It's like a little mini game where you're trying to like uncover the like pictures of like loot that are on there.
I get it. Okay.
So you're like trying to.
It's like Battleship. It's Battleship.
Like Battleship.
Yeah, actually.
Like
all right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get like the chest, and the Faux commander's like, you sunk my chest, and he gives you something.
Yeah. And there's a possibility of being able to do like 2 a week, depending on like if you've uncovered all of the pictures. It's basically going to be its own little mini game, and there's going to be little rules with that. Mm-hmm. And can I just say that the little fox is my 2020 mood?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Also, merchandise team, bobblehead that. I will buy it.
Please, I need it.
I'll put it on my dash. It'll be great. It looks like it should be a bobblehead.
It really does.
He's so perfect, and I love him.
I just want to like reach out and just like bop it and just have it.
I also just love it because it like even in the screenshot that we have on the patch notes, like obviously he's going to be hanging out next to like Chloe, and she's so cute and so perfect and so good. And then there's just this weird,
and then he's just
old
there.
Man fox.
Yeah. He's like,
he's an old man fox.
I'm new content. They could have put me anywhere. Instead, they put me in 3.x areas with this child that gives people stickers in a book.
I mean, I'm sure they put him there because they both kind of have a similar type of mini game, if that makes sense. Like, and I'm sure they want to incentivize people to do Wondrous Tales still because they are updating.
Oh yeah, that was a thing. Yeah. I remember that.
So I can see that being a thing. It is kind of interesting again though, because it's one of those things where it's like, I just wonder sometimes about like what exactly the long-term vision for a lot of this is. You know what I mean? Like Wondrous Tales has its good and bad, and there are times where it seems like there are certain things you can get from it that are like totally worth it, and there's times where it's just like, why would we ever even do this? Like, you forget it exists a lot of times, and yet it could be a fun reusable content, you know?
It could be. I think they gotta find out, like what its legs really are, and maybe this is, part of it, trying to try faux hollows. The thing that I like about this is the person you talk to get the quest is a painfully Ishgardian man, and that just was funny to me. That's just the NPC that you talk to. That's funny.
That's
I
his
want
name?
to see him. Yeah, it's painfully Ishgardian man.
I enjoy that.
Yeah.
I have
Wow.
questions. Why?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Is he just
Interesting.
very French?
I don't know, and I want
Is
to
he
know,
just
right?
very French?
I mean, it is faux, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you get these leaves, I guess. So another type of leaves, to be confused with what leaf you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm interested in seeing what exactly these rewards are going to be, because so far with the patch notes, all that we have, it says rewards, right? So in theory, you should be able to exchange the leaves for,
So we
I would
have
assume, a list.
a picture. Yeah.
But we have one picture.
A pitch, which is a cute little, it's like a little ribbon with like a little Kate Sith plushy kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's super cute. But I'm like, if I'm going to be farming this,
Yeah.
I'm going to need something more than just one ribbon with a Kate Sith on it.
And that's when they reveal that you can get Shiva's outfit, old Shiva.
Yeah. I'm also wondering if there's going to be, so like there's been a lot of discussion about where, and we haven't quite reached this yet, but we'll get there. The new glowing unicorn mounts.
Right.
I'm wondering, because I've seen people talking about it, and myself, I was thinking about this too, with these like unreal versions of the fights. Obviously the ponies came from the original A Realm Reborn Primal fights. So I'm wondering if this is going to be like a new mount that's from Unreal Shiva, where you get like this upgrade, although it is green and not like sparkly ice, which would be my guess. But maybe there's like you can exchange currency for that, or it drops within the Unreal instance. I don't know, but
maybe it's a rainbow and it very subtly changes colors, and they just happened to take a picture when it was green.
There you go. I'm really curious, and we had talked about this a little bit.
It's opposite of the nightmare, right?
Yeah.
Nightmare. Daymare. I don't know.
Yeah. We had talked about that before. It's what are the rewards going to be? Like, why do we want to go back and do this? And we have a picture of a horse, and that's it. We still have no idea, other than getting this chance at Faux Hollow. We have no idea what this Unreal fight is going to offer.
I'm here for a rainbow unicorn. Just saying.
I mean, I'm here for that.
I would care more if it didn't look like every other damn unicorn, though. Like,
I really like
make it a Pegasus, give it wings. I don't know.
Sure.
It's just,
I've seen people both be incredibly excited about the new unicorn, which did surprise me a little bit, because I think I was kind of in the same boat as you, where I was like, oh, it's just like a recolor shiny one, but I already have that because I did a conjurer, so I have a unicorn. Like, so I was a little surprised. I mean, who knows? Again, we have no idea because Unreal is totally new. It would be interesting if they did something where maybe there was like a recolor of the Kirin mount at the end or something like that. That might be interesting.
Sure.
I don't know. And maybe they do this retroactively for all old primals, and then eventually you can get the mounts. But we don't even know if that unicorn comes from this. So we have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, if it comes from the fight, I have issues just because of the way that they're going to be rotating these Unreal fights in. I hate the idea of this temporary content, especially when, and we'll get down to this a little bit later, like how long, every time I'm doing expert roulette, I'm getting Grand Cosmos every damn time. I am so sick of this freaking dungeon. But then they come out and they're like, here's this other content, but it's only temporary. Give us an extra dungeon a patch or something. Like, give us something that we're regularly doing. Don't spend resources giving us this temporary stuff. And then, like, I don't know.
Do you think
I could
because
rant for days.
To do the little game at all, you have to do the Unreal trial? It doesn't really matter necessarily what the trial at the time is. So maybe all of the rewards will come from doing
the
little mini game.
I feel like that's going to be it, because I mean, otherwise, why tie them to this special vendor and get currency and uncover? You know what I mean? Like, it does seem as though likely all of those different rewards will be there. But now, whether or not those rewards are just in the store always, or there's like new stuff rotated in depending on which primal is in there. Like, on one hand, it is frustrating because like it's like, okay, well, if this is only going to be here for a little bit. And hopefully they cycle them, so it's not like this is only in here for 2 weeks and then you never see it again.
No, it'll be every patch. So we'll have Shiva for 3 months, and then we'll get like Titan or something with 5.4.
But like, hopefully they'll end up on some kind of rotating schedule, right? And then you could, whenever it's in there, that would incentivize you to like pop in for that one to try and get whatever. But
so really rotating, if it does work the way we're assuming, where you actually get the prize from the mini game, rotating it is their way of trying to keep the content fresh.
Yeah. So that you don't just do Shiva forever.
Well, it's time to go do Shiva again and again and again and again.
Right.
Yeah, and I think also to try and incentivize people to like, to do within that window what the thing is, as opposed to just being like, oh, well, I can do this literally whenever. So I guess that will go, I think it'll try, like, people will have something they're trying to like turn over or do within that time frame. I don't know. I think that one thing that I really love about 14 is that they do constantly provide like relevancy for older content. And I do love a lot of these fights. And one thing that was always a huge frustration for me with, even when I was back playing WoW, right, was the fact that although there's stuff like time walking and so on and so forth, there's so much content in that game that is just straight up dead now.
Yep.
That like people will just never experience, that just doesn't exist. Like, and even if you go through it by yourself and run it, you're never going to have the experience that other people did. So like, on one hand, I do really like that they are, providing constant life for the content that is in the game for people to enjoy or like re-engage with in different ways. But on the other hand, Fusion, I totally agree with you in that, like, yeah, I get sick of running the same dungeon in Expert too. And I love new dungeons. And I don't want to ever see the balance tip towards like, we are just finding new ways to reuse old content over and over and over and over and over.
Right.
As opposed to like balancing it with new content and new things that are coming into the game.
And I think the more I think about it too, like the way I would think of it is, especially with Faux Hollows, right? Because it's once a week. You can run Expert once a day. And so you should be adding freshness to the content people are doing more of, not introducing or updating content on a once a week basis. Like, that's, I don't know. I feel like they should have done something else. But we did talk about earlier too how maybe this is them, kind of testing the waters with some stuff. Maybe they'll end up doing this with dungeons or something. We don't know. Right. Hopefully. Hopefully. Speaking of all this stuff, so there are changes to Wondrous Tales. When receiving rewards, players will now receive experience points in addition to their reward after collecting 9 seals, so it'll be a nice way to get some XP. Prizes available in exchange for Chloe's gold certificate of commendation. The silver one and the bronze one have been adjusted. So items that were previously prizes for Wondrous Tales have been added to the exchange. And then players who have not reached level 80 with a War or Magic Disciple may only choose from 2 rewards rather than 3. So just some nice little quality of life shifts for that, since, again, with Faux Hollow being right there, people are going to be like, oh, hey, Wondrous Tales, that was a thing.
Right.
Maybe we should just tweak that a little bit. So that's nice. Let's see. New emote. There's a new emote if you like to dance.
So cute. Oh my God.
Cute. I'm just scrolling down, having not looked at these previously to this, so that I can be like genuinely going, this is my of the day, because it's so cute.
It's what is it? Isn't it a traditional, like a Russian dance?
Yeah.
They name it later. I forget the name of it, but the name is down with the new text commands in that list. It's down there. I don't want to scroll because I'm gonna like lose my place and I'll never find it again if I do that. Battle system changes. This is actually. Yep. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I love new dances or new persistent emotes because they are like my favorite idle things. So that's great for me and I love it.
Yeah.
Period of invulnerability after being revived will now be indicated by the Transcendent status effect. So you know how long you have to move or not move. So that's nice. What's that?
Sorry, this is totally before what you started talking about. I scrolled down. There's 2 emotes. One of them is called the bee's knees, which I assume would be that one because they're doing a lot of knee stuff. But the other one's called lollihop, so that one's actually more likely.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
interesting.
True
mean,
dance.
yeah.
Yeah, it could be either, really.
It's like lollihop but with a P.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
spoilers, lollihop is from
Yeah.
the Dwarf tribe quests.
Yeah, it seems like.
Yeah, you would think.
And they have it
Yeah.
modeled on 2 Lalafell, which
Yeah.
but confusingly, they aren't in
dwarfs.
purpose?
Yeah.
Because
I'm not sure.
we need a picture for this dance. Okay, cool. Like, what do we need? Well, it's gonna be like a dwarf thing. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna get 2 Lalafells and dress them up in cold weather gear and put them on ice in Ishgard.
Yes, it
Okay.
leaves me guessing. It leaves me guessing. Like, is this from Ishgardian Restoration or is this the lollihop from?
Right.
I don't know.
And I mean,
Right, it's right because they would totally add something like this to Ishgardian Restoration rewards. Maybe
Yeah.
the other one is, but this one is I don't know.
and it seems like the Highlander in the background is doing like the finishing pose of one of the 2 dances.
Hey.
I don't know which one.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
Yeah. Oh, but the Transcendent status effect. Right.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
I love that. I
that-
love that. That's a great.
It's great. Because
Yeah.
people will be like, what the heck is this thing? And it will say on it, if you move, it'll go away. I hope. It'll tell you that don't do anything or it's going to go away. Right? Because that was so invisible, right? New players would be like,
You would just count a couple seconds and you're like, hopefully I won't get hit by this AoE I timed poorly my raise with here.
but like until you raid, nobody will tell you that. How would you ever know that you're invulnerable when you get up?
Yeah, there's literally nothing that tells you or indicates that to you in
Yeah.
the game, right?
Yeah.
So, and like, I even remember when I was a newer player, people would be like, don't move, don't move, don't move. And I was like,
Why?
what?
Yeah, what are you
Like,
talking about?
I'm literally standing in an AoE. Why would I not? I died. Why would I not move? I don't want to
Mhm.
die again, like, so it's really, this is like, I think for me, the overall summary of the patch notes that we got here. There's a lot of like little quality of life things like this with patch 5.3 that I
Yeah.
don't think any of us were expecting that like we're getting more and more into here. But this is definitely a big one for me where I went, oh, thank you. Yes, we need that. Thanks.
And it's so weird too because it's like there's a lot of these little adjustments where it's about the things that they're addressing, but at the same time, like you don't really think of them in terms of like, okay, what would you like to see like adjusted or changed? Like I would have never even thought about this, and I'm reading this, I'm like, nice, like all right, like,
At the very least, you'll know when you're gonna die. You'll be like, oh no, it went away. Whoops.
Yeah, you see that little number ticking down. It's like, all right, you have this long to either move or not move to get out of that giant AoE.
It'll kind of take that like guesswork out of raiding too, where you're like, oh god, I hope this lasts long enough and I don't get smashed, and then you either do or you don't.
Yeah. Now
Sorry
you'll
for the
see
wipe.
it. Yeah.
That's nice. Players can now change the name of active sets in the Blue Magic Spellbook.
Pretty cool.
So that's a thing that you do.
So when you save a set, you can save it with a name. So you can say, this is my Carnival. I don't know.
Okay, so like healer, DPS, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What I really want them to do is to have a function where they do not organize the spells by the number. They organize them by the element.
Yeah.
The type of spell that they are.
Yeah, multiple sortings. Like name would be nice too. Because I don't know what number this is or what element it is. I just
Please add blah to your list. What number is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. The new dungeon, Hero's Gauntlet, has been added. That'll be somewhere in the MSQ. Obviously, trust compatible. This was a nice one. Experience point bonus will now be granted when completing dungeons for the first time.
Nice.
Okay. It's one of those things, right? You wouldn't really think of it, but all right. Nice.
I thought we got that.
I think it was something. I think you get an amount of experience, but I think it's because of the achievement. I don't know that it gives you extra experience at the end. People get a first time bonus, but I don't know if you get
first time completion.
Isn't that we already get that?
Yeah, I would think so, but
This is for you, right? So if you join, other people get get some kind of bonus, right? But for you, if this is your first time running the dungeon, you get an XP bonus.
Yeah, because I don't think you got the first time bonus before.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
And I love this because
Yeah.
honestly, that's even something that like we were talking about earlier with guild tests, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, this was one of the literally only useful things about guild tests is that if you do them the first time, you get bonus experience. So I actually love that like now you can get this bonus from doing it the first time. And it also makes it so that like as you go through the story for the first time, really well and truly, which is already the case, but this really I think reinforces it. It's kind of designed to get that first class that you're taking through up to that max cap, you know, without having to grind a bunch. And I really appreciate that.
That's nice.
Yeah. So I guess it wasn't the case, but I thought that you counted as a first-time player and you got the experience for yourself in the past. I would have swore I would have been like, yeah, here's $20. This is the case, right? But I guess not.
Man, I could have made $20.
Yeah, I often, I'm not the first person in there, especially with Shadowbringers, because I did everything via trust. Like, I don't know.
There you go. So we already talked about this, but it's such a random change that I want to bring this up again. Attacks by the coin counter in Ormvale will now have action indicators.
I mean, okay, so here's the deal with this. People I've seen on Twitter and all over, people like, talking about how this is an indication that the game is becoming more casual and that like all this stuff, right? But I would like to provide a different perspective on this because while I do agree that part of the mechanics of Ormvale were that you kind of needed to know these things and then avoid them, right? At the same time, players that are coming into the game now are not experiencing these types of enemies in the same way as players back in the initial release of the game were, right? And this goes for everything from chimeras to these ogroids, like the ogre / cyclops kind of characters. Like there are these fundamental types of enemies that you will then see a million times in the game that like you need to know the mechanics for in order to, deal with them later on in a sense. And one of the enemy types that I think has been the most confusing for new players recently has been this guy. Because people like, even when we think about, is it the newest one with the Amarot?
Yeah,
Academia.
Like Academia, we have one of these types of enemies, and the amount of players I saw just get obliterated because nobody knows what the swing or the swipe or the is. I think it was an indicator that we needed something that players encounter, which is this dungeon, to teach them what this type of enemy does, because they aren't doing other content or maps or things like, until then that illustrates it. So this, I think, will actually be a good change for later dungeons where you don't get those telegraphs, just like the first time that you encounter the Chimera in Ant Desert. They're like, blue means blank.
Cutter's Cry.
Cutter's Cry, thank you. I'm always
good old Ant Desert.
Remembering the names when I'm in the moment talking, so I just don't even try.
I mean, I knew what you were talking about, so no problem, right?
Princess Desert.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is, I think, a good change overall because people have to do it; they have to learn.
So question then: if the way that you talked about it, I agree too with kind of going through the dungeons and learning things. People that are end game now or just getting to end game now probably won't have a chance to randomly go back to Ormvale, right? So they won't see this. Do you think that they should just go through and add the telegraph to all the Cyclops?
No, I mean,
I don't think so.
We have cases of this like throughout the whole game where like earlier bosses will have a telegraph and then later those same bosses don't.
Normal sometimes.
Like I think that it's a very reinforced process through the rest of the game. I even see here in chat Trell saying, do you think they'll take them away? I don't think so. I think that the idea, and something I always praise about 14, is the fact that they do take time to build the language and mechanics and understanding of their own game. So I oftentimes will say that 14 is a great newbie MMO because although there's a lot of stuff in the game and it can be kind of overwhelming, all the different types of content and all sorts of stuff, right? Overall, 14 is very good and very linear about like teaching you the language of what will happen and then later building off of that. You
Yeah.
And
know?
this actually isn't the only instance of this type of mob that has AoEs too. There's also, I think, Haltali Hard. It's not exactly the same, but it's very, very similar.
I'm trying to think of
So
like what
there
Holly
are
Hard
a
even
couple.
is. Like,
Yeah, but I think this is like the first one that really screws people up.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a good place for it.
Yeah.
To throw back just a little bit, Stephen C in the chat informed me that what I was thinking of was tomes, not
Yeah.
XP.
There's its own bonus.
You get your own first time bonus for tomes.
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really, you know, when we were talking about this in the Telegraph, it's like some people are real mad about it. Like, you know, I had to walk 2 miles in the snow to get this map.
Right.
And it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, are you going to do
You
Orange
kids
Vale?
don't know how easy you have it.
They're going to go into Savage and get shreked by the first one that doesn't have a Telegraph. It didn't change anything, you know, like it's fine.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say about it, because it's like, it's not a big
That's
deal.
fair.
I will
Yeah.
never ever forget that swing is the round one because
Right.
G's are round and swipe is just the other one.
See, I've always tried, like, it's so funny because I try to give myself the like visual indicator, like a swipe, you're gonna like with a paw, you're gonna swipe, whereas a swing, you're gonna like wind up and go crazy. But
See, that's good too.
See, I just am of the notion where if I see it doing a move that's not Glower, I just walk a mile away from it.
And that's fine too.
if you melee, you can't do that as easily.
Yes, I can. Watch me.
Be
I have
melee.
elusive jump.
Are you
I'll
serious?
just
Look,
back.
you can,
Yeah.
but that's a choice then that you've made. Not to
It's an
take.
amazing choice. It's a
Yeah.
choice that prevents
yeah.
death.
I mean,
And
yeah.
I do see in the chat the idea of like lots of content. I think that we as like lots of content where in my Final Fantasy? Yes. I've played a lot of MMOs, and I just wanted to address this for a second because like I play a lot of them, and actively. I mean, even like Zen was talking about playing ESO. Some of us have played WoW, or you know, all sorts of stuff. SWTOR, Guild Wars 2. Like I played a ton, right? When it comes to 14, there actually is just a huge variety of all kinds of different content. If you are just a raider, your focus is going to be on raiding, right? So like, where's my raid content, right? But if you actually look at like the entire game itself and you think about coming into it new, I can remember being like, what is the gold what is this person, the gold saucer? What? You want me to do what with Palace of the what? I have to go where for, like, there's a lot of different, whether it's just like little things, Wondrous Tales even, Faux Hollows now, like just a ton of sort of random content on the full spectrum from casual to hardcore that players have to learn about. And even players coming into the game that are like, what is Eureka?
Mhm.
And
This
it
is
has
just
its
making me
own
more upset
story.
about the lack of Hildebrand and Shadowbringer so far.
Hildebrand's another
Hildy?
example, right?
Where's my Hildy?
Math Carnival, you know, limited
Yeah.
jobs, and I don't know of any other MMO that does anything similar to that anymore,
Yeah.
at least. You know,
People have been all up in arms, like, where's the content? Well, we don't have any right now because important world things.
well,
But we as a community are kind of spoiled with how much stuff we have. Rick is absolutely right.
Yeah,
And the consistency as well. There are a lot of MMOs that don't give stuff as
That's
consistently
the
as
thing.
15
And I
does.
mean, you know, talking about SWTOR, that's why SWTOR kind of ended up in the position it's in, because that game
Yeah.
launched and I was SWTOR day one. Like I was like, all right,
Yep.
Star Wars, like let's do it.
played the
And
crap
then
out
it
of
was so long before their updates, and it was just okay. And then it slowly phased away. Final Fantasy 14, you know, okay, every 3 months ish, there's going to be a patch. I mean, there's little patches in between all that too.
Yeah.
And more or less, you know, the content that's gonna, you know, you're gonna get a new dungeon, you know, you're gonna get an 8 or a 24-man raid. And that consistency is as much as people hate the consistency, right, in terms of the content, like we're lucky that we get that. Like I think people really underestimate just how fortunate we are that we have a team that can continuously put out that amount of content, and then every so often they try and mix it up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you end up playing the Grand Cosmos for over a half a year. But again, real world things. But I think the consistency and the regularity of these updates are just that's what makes 14 stand apart, I think.
Yeah. Go talk to a WoW player about a content drop.
Yeah.
Go talk to a WoW player. Go ahead,
Yep.
like a long-term WoW player, and they'll go, "Oh, that's cute."
Yeah.
Like me, I'm gonna go Hank Hill here. I do raid activities and raid related activities like propane and propane accessories, right? That's what I do. That's it. I don't have a house. I don't do any of the casual content. There's a lot of content. It's just not for me. That's not saying there's no content. Yes, I don't want to interact with it. That's my prerogative, but that doesn't mean there's no content, you know?
And I think too, we have to always, balancing, we've talked about this a bunch today, but like balancing in an MMO is such a big thing. And so there are going to be times where we see them trying to experiment and then also try to figure out what they want, what they've regularly delivered, right? What works as far as like, formula and the mainstays of the game, and then introduce new stuff in so that we can then get new stuff that becomes new regulars or new expected things. And even talking about like faux hollows. Why did they group it with Wondrous Tales? It's because while you experiment in different types of content, you also want to, again, sorry, my voice is going. You also want to like reinforce and teach, again, the language of the game, right? So you don't want so much scattered, varied content that players literally have no idea where to look for it, what it is, what it vaguely relates to, how it could possibly fit in with anything. So like trying to create these hubs where you've got like grouped types of content that seem to have worked, but that you can then, create and improvise off of is a great way to, again, like create more reliable content that changes up the game a little bit. Sometimes it's really successful, sometimes it's not. Eureka had a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. Diadem before it is mostly bad.
I was like, I wonder where she's going to take. Oh, okay. No, that's right. Okay.
I fully expected Fusion to say that like 5 minutes ago.
But it's all part of the process. And I think we're really lucky that in 14, they are both very reliable, but they are not afraid to do new things. So I always praise the new things, even if they fail and even if we have criticism, because it's better to try to have new than it is to not do anything,
And even if we criticize the new things and say how bad fellowships are, we still appreciate that they're trying something.
Here's what I was looking for. Patch 5.4 to Warlords of Draenor was 400 days or more. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. We're complaining about 3 months. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I honestly, I don't think that them going back here, I don't think that them adding in Hells to Aurum Vale literally means anything except for the fact that they're trying to make sure that they're teaching the ongoing language and mechanics of the game to new players.
Yeah.
And, it'll allow you to make fun of them more later on because they had a telegraph. There you go.
Well, and that's the thing, right? With this game, it's they just announced another account milestone. They're still getting new people playing to this game. And yes, the current player at Endgame, yes, that is probably the majority of active subs. But they still want to make more money. And to do that, they have to cater to those people that are coming through. That's why the trial got extended to have up to some of Heaven's Word now. They're really good about, trying to facilitate the needs of new players. And that's what we're seeing here. In addition, trying to get back to the patch notes here. Remember the patch notes? We're not even halfway through this thing.
But do we want to talk about housing again?
No. No, we don't. That's another half-hour discussion. The contents for treasure coffers in a bunch of the old 2.0 dungeons have been changed to ensure that players receive gear of a suitable strength. Additionally, players are always going to receive a weapon or piece of armor equipable by their current job upon completion of these dungeons, which is super awesome. I love that.
That is really good. It was super lacking for the lower levels.
Yeah.
Especially since they went through and added that to all the other leveling dungeons at every other level. So good job.
Yeah,
good
it's
choice.
Nice to see them do some of that with the older stuff.
Yeah.
A new trial.
I feel like the lowest levels. I feel like the lowest levels are actually where you need that weapon.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
1000%.
I'm so glad they're doing that. And honestly, I think it's like, I would rather have them make sure that you get something from the dungeon at the end than not. The only thing that I think I would wish is that maybe someday eventually, and this is so low on my list, it doesn't even really matter, but I would like it if there were an option to like toggle. I don't need the gear from
permanent pass, basically.
But because Grand Company seal relevancy.
I mean, yes, you can grant company seal, you can turn into the Domin Enclave for Gil, which is good too. But
Yeah.
I do find that sometimes when I'm just like running stuff or farming or when I've been doing whatever, I'll sit there and I'm like, why is my inventory full? Why can't
Sure.
And it's because I have like
I hear
50
ya.
random Garbo from
Yeah.
Yep. No, I totally, yeah. I get it. A new trial has been added. Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Whatever it is.
As well as question mark, question mark, question mark, extreme. So, the first one, item level of 465, second one, 480. Obviously, we talked a little bit about this before. This will be woven into the MSQ, probably with hello, Bert.
Yeah.
Going down here a little bit. So this is interesting too. So this is the base one is item level 465, right? But then we get down to Unreal Shiva, 430 or above. Wasn't the whole point of these to have it be like current and stuff? So why would they dial it down a little bit?
I mean,
that
it's
confuses
level
me a
synced,
little.
too. Item level synced.
Yeah.
I think they just want it to be like level 80 content, not quite level 80 and current content, but like, oh,
That's
okay,
fair.
this is equivalent to Shiva if she was today, because she wasn't in game. Well, kind of, but not really in game content, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
So maybe that's why.
Yeah,
It
they
is-
may
it is
also with that sync. Although I mean, we don't totally know how this is going to work long term, right? But I mean, that may also be something kind of similar to like what they put into place for ultimate fights, right? Where it's like this will forever be locked
Could
at
be.
blank so that it will always be at this difficulty theoretically from here on out. So
yeah. That could be.
When you said 430, I thought you meant FOR 30, and I was like, "What? That's not what they said they were gonna do." Shiva wasn't 30 to start with.
Yeah, I do wonder. I don't know what the first AF gear you get in Shadowbringers is, but it should be around 430, right? 440? Did they target it to like
that
a
sounds right.
new 80, you know?
They might have. That would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense. Thinking about it that way. Yeah, sure. And again, it all depends on too, how long do they keep this content going?
Right.
Do we get to a point where they just do ARR primals and then stop, and that's Unreal, and that's just the content cycle? Like what,
Yeah.
Lots of questions that we don't have answers to, and probably won't for years.
Yeah.
Drop rate for the mount from Hades Extreme has been adjusted. Now you can buy it with tomes if you want to run it 45 times since Hades drops 2.
Oh yeah.
I almost forgot that, and I was like, wait a minute. They did a thing with that.
Yep.
So weekly restriction.
I would say I wish that thing applied to all extreme primals.
Oh yeah.
Right. 99. What a crazy number. Who's like, yeah, fight this thing 99 times to get a thing you can ride. Why is that?
Listen, when you farm with a full static for 8 mounts, you get very close to 99 totems.
You really do.
Which is even more insulting, right? You almost you get the free one at like 98, and you're just like, mother.
You just need to be in the static with me because you need to get 7 of them because I don't care.
Yeah.
There you go.
Charles is always like, nope.
I wish they would lower the amount on these, especially considering that like now you can go back eventually and just unsync them all. And it's one of those things where I'm like, would I rather do this thing and be in party finders for 1,000,000 years, or get my static to run it one night a week over and over and over again? Like, I'm just like, I'll just
wait 2 years, solo it, and have a better chance of just getting them out because you're the only one in the instance.
We use it for downtime, and we get drunk. So it's a raid night where nothing is important.
There you go.
Have whatever substance you would like. We will try and go get this.
Move it down. Weekly restriction for Edenverse rewards has been removed, and the amount of Golden Blaze of Antiquity needed to exchange for a weapon, for the Tombstone for the weapon has been reduced from 7 to 4. So if you don't have a lot of that stuff, it's easy to get caught up with gear. Puppet's Bunker has been added. So there's your new 24-man raid. Nothing really new with that,
I do really like the screenshots from it.
Yeah.
I just want to say
I'm
that.
excited for
And
it. Yeah.
I think it's going to be good. A lot of us were, even here on the cast, we were theorizing about what might be the next thing. And there was the whole discussion about like, oh yeah, it's probably going to be like the, spaceship / the space center that fell down. And it does look super neat and I'm very pumped about it. So
I want, so if Puppet's Bunker, and I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. If the spaceship thing is 2, I want that amusement park for 3. Close it out with the amusement park. Like, you can't not close it out with the amusement park. They're talking about doing like a festival with the dwarf town that's like right there. Dude, give me the amusement park. Like, holy crap. Like, yes. That'd be amazing.
But do note, if you do like near stuff, you need 465 or above item level. People run into that all the time. So start getting in now.
Also,
get caught up.
Patches ago, we were given some in-between quests. So if you, like myself, have not done them yet,
right. I had
we'll get
forgotten
those out of the way so that you can get in as soon as you want.
There were 2. There were 2.
2, yeah.
Get them done.
2 little filler quests.
Yeah. Let's see. Players will no longer get cracked stellar clusters from the copied factory. Items required to enhance equipment purchased with Tombstones of Allegory. That would be the crystalline glaze and the twine, can be purchased from Xyle in the Crystarium with sacks of nuts. Or Fat Hard in Yulmore with manufactured coins and Puppets coins.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's par for the... I mean, this is the same thing. New raid, new currency, swapping things around.
I completely forgot that you could get them with the nut equivalent before, but you could.
Yeah. Question mark extreme. And Shiva Unreal have been added to Raid Finder, which means that Cinder Drift Extreme and Memoria Misera Extreme have been added to the duty finder.
I really love. One more time. Which ones got added? I missed them. Could you repeat?
The 2 extreme ones. Those, is that...
Yeah, those 2. Yeah.
I need to get some Surge. Watch some reruns of the X Games. Go back to the 90s.
You know what my favorite 90s cartoon was? G.I. Joe Extreme.
Wow.
I had action figures and everything. All right. Your players will now receive the Echo in the event that all party members are incapacitated during Cinder Drift and Cinder Drift Extreme and Memoria Misera Extreme. Here's one of my favorite parts of this update. The duties listed within Duty Roulette Expert have been changed as such. The Grand Cosmos is getting the hell out of here. Being swapped out for the Hero's Gauntlet. Goodbye, Grand Cosmos. I will not miss you. At all. Not even a little. I'm so sick of that dungeon. You have no idea.
I don't blame you. I was so excited for elf lore.
Yeah.
Do
you run your expert the whole time? Like from when content starts to when we get the new expert, do you run it every day? Like
so I
no every week?
No, okay. I do not, and it's just I don't always end up logging in every single day. But if I do log in, I usually run it. So 2-3 times a week.
Okay.
I
haven't done an expert in probably 2 months, so I was like, I don't care about this at this point. So I'm wondering, does Fusion do this every time? Does he torture himself this way?
No. But I get a niter so little that I can't even tell you the last time I got a niter. Like it was probably
in June. You're all about them people.
I want the newer one because I'm sick of the Grand Cosmos.
Well, there was a big stretch where all I got was Grand Cosmos as well, but I wanted that freaking furniture.
It's fair.
Yes, the furniture drops are good.
It's so cheap though.
It is. Well, I love that too.
I was excited when they because I saw it when I was running it a couple weeks ago. And I was like, oh, I didn't know this even had furniture, and I got it, and I was like, sweet. I'm like, I wonder how much this sells for, and it's like 20K, and I'm like, oh, all right.
I got a bunch of those banners for
because
40
that's how many people are having to run the Grand Cosmos.
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
So would you say that you're tired of that cramped old castle?
Yes. Yeah, you went there.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah,
played.
expert roulette is its own pickle because it
Yeah.
kind of is just like this, where it's like no matter what, there's gonna be 2 dungeons.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how do you make those 2 dungeons interesting for so long? Like
You
just
can't. That's the thing. You
Yeah.
cannot. And I mean, granted,
Yeah.
with this patch, we've sat on Cosmos for longer than we normally would, right? I will fully acknowledge that. But you know, it kind of just highlights the issue in general, right? It's that we get 1 dungeon a patch because it needs to be trust compatible because it's weaved into the MSQ. And that's it. You get 1 dungeon a patch, which means you're gonna be stuck with the same dungeon in Roulette for 6 months, for half a year, and with compared to what we used to get, like that's rough. Like I get it, right? But all right, let's see here. Duty Roulette changes, blah blah blah. We know that. Season 16 of the Feast. I like this one. So changes to frontline, which I usually don't do, but I love this change. Preparation time before matches has been reduced from 90 to 45 seconds. I love that because you join and then you just sit there and you sit there and you like decide which mount you want to use like 3 different times because you have 90 seconds before anything happens. So that's nice. I appreciate that. They're changing the rotation of the available campaigns now that we have Danshig Nadam thrown in there. Let's see. Rival Wings, same thing, 90 to 45 seconds for preparation time. Time limit has been reduced from 20 to 15 minutes. So that's nice. I'm really hoping, like, especially there, like, I hope that this will help improve queues.
Yeah, I think
because
it will.
PvP
honestly,
queues are terrible usually.
once you because they last kind of a long time. If you are not in that group that happens to get all in there together, you pretty much have to wait for that majority
the wave to kind of
cycle
go
back
through.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
shorter matches will probably help with that.
Yeah. They also adjusted actions for some of the War Machina in Rival Wings. So that's cool.
Blanket potency increases, basically.
Yeah. And we got some pictures with gear, like the new dungeon gear. New recipes have been added. So here we go. We have like a nice Hawaiian shirt with some
khakis.
like a little dress or some khakis. Yeah.
Khaki
so if
skirt.
you just get, you know, diet red, you can cosplay as Jake from State Farm.
Yeah.
I was thinking Master Roshi.
Yeah, that too.
Master Roshi.
Yeah.
Oh, the shirt. Okay.
Red Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. I was focused on the khakis. I apologize. Again, it's pants for me. It just goes back to the pants. Mannequins, feet, no. Buy the pants. Hawaiian shirt, no. Khakis. It's all about the pants. Crafted item level 480 equipment can be exchanged for upgraded item level 490 equipment. This will use the Yulmoran Certificate of Novelty or Undersea Rain. They're also doing this update too here with Sundry Splendors. I love this.
Yes.
Each city, Limsa, Gridania, Ulta, Ishgard, and Kugane are going to get an NPC with this just fantastic little bit of UI to just buy like anything and everything with tomes, and it's so good.
Yeah, I'm so
we've needed
glad.
this for so long.
Yeah, this is like not only helpful for new players because I mean, oh my gosh, like when you're a new player and you're trying to figure out like how do I even gear, it's like a whole other thing. But being able to just like go to this one person, get the stuff from them, see what they even have, know what you can exchange tombstones for. And then even for like older players, like when I'm going back through and I'm leveling stuff, I'm like, I have all these tombstones sitting around. I guess I could go see either for like cosmetic purposes or even just for like certain leveling brackets for these new classes that I'm working on. Maybe I can just nab some easy stuff and get rid of some of my capped tombstones. But you'd have to like teleport here and then there and then back there. And then, oh, does this, oh no, never mind. I'm going to go.
And you know what?
Together.
And then the next step for this too is to let people know you can upgrade that freaking equipment and just pop an NPC right next to them to do it, or weave it into this little bit of new UI to begin with. Because like if you tell a new player, oh yeah, all that stuff in Idle Shire, you can upgrade it. How? Oh, you have to like walk
Where?
across the little thing here and talk to this guy over here. It's like, what? Okay, that's so like, oh,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
And I do enjoy that all of her representatives are, high fashion of their area.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, absolutely.
Like they
Yeah.
had to be.
Well, they get paid well. I mean,
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
is rolling in the money.
Exclusive
Let's
dives.
see.
Yep.
I'm trying to see what's worth mentioning. There's just a lot of like little. This one was interesting. To reduce system stress, the timing with which changes to gear durability and Spiritbond are processed has been adjusted.
Yeah.
That's an odd one. So currently, right, changes to durability and Spiritbond gain were processed after defeating an enemy. With the changes to durability and Spiritbond gain are processed after completion of a duty. So instead of like per mob, it's per instance.
Yeah.
That's kind of good too, because if you have stuff breaking in the middle of a dungeon, that won't happen anymore.
Yeah.
It's gonna wait until you hit the end of the dungeon.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it, again, it's like one of those like random little things. Like, oh, wait, that's cool. With the exception of treasure dungeons and fates, however, gear will not lose durability, nor will it gain Spiritbond when a duty is failed. The adjustment will also not affect durability lost upon incapacitation.
Right. So you'll still
if
lose
you
it.
Die, you'll still lose. Yeah.
But if you failed it, like if you ran out of time with Steps of Fate, it's not gonna do that, I guess.
Some interesting changes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess it makes sense, because if you process it after defeating an enemy and you have a whole bunch of enemies, like that's a bunch at one time to do for everyone who's in your party. So yeah, I could get it.
Especially because the way a lot of people do dungeons is they pull like half
Everything.
the dungeon
Exactly.
and kill it all.
Yep. It also says that enemies defeated in the open world, leaves, etc., will no longer affect Spiritbond gain.
Oh.
If you're still over there in Earth's Font.
I was just gonna say that was such a thing. Yeah. Grab your chocobo, go over to Earth's Font, and just Spiritbond and level the chocobo.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Well.
Yeah.
What if people actually do that anymore?
Probably not.
It's been many years.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
2 people out there are going, no.
Right. Yeah. I was rank 19 chocobo. I was so close. You have a few days. Materials in your inventory can now be used to search for crafting recipes, more crafter and gatherer type of quality of life stuff. We also get trial synthesis.
Not even that. Like it's really good for people who have random junk in their inventory. They're like, do I need this? Will I ever use this? You just click the thing and you're like, oh, I might use this, and you keep it.
I have 5 stacks of U logs. What can I do with these? Let's see.
I wonder if you have to have the recipe unlocked. Like when you scroll down the normal crafting recipe thing, if you don't have that particular level unlocked, you won't see it. So sometimes you like have to ask a friend,
or if it needs a book to unlock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you look at the image, it does. Yeah, the image says Master Weaver 2 learned, and then the ones that are Master Weaver 4 are grayed out.
There you go. Yeah. But so it will tell you what you what you can use it on. Just perhaps not what the rest of the recipe is.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. I don't know what happens if you were to click on one of them.
Well, if it's grayed out, you might still get the recipe list, but you still can't make it.
Yeah.
It would. I think it would be really nice if they actually did include that.
Yeah.
Because then you can bother your friends less when you're asking them to make you something and be like, "Can you tell me what's in that recipe?" Well, just look it up yourself, bro. It's right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to hide it. Like, you still can't make the damn thing if you don't have the book for it. So why not?
Be really cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Players can specify the number of items to be crafted in the raw materials list. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of new windows for crafting. There's a lot of stuff in here. It'll make crafters very happy, I'm sure.
One of the
also. What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about crafting. You go ahead. You were going to go.
No, go.
You're probably
going
to the next thing too. I was going to say collectible synthesis. Why is it gone? What does that mean? Do you see that? Yeah, collectible synthesis have been removed from all crafters. What does that mean?
No, so what that means is before, if you were making a collectible, you had to basically toggle a status on to make it. If it is a collectible, well, traditionally, right? Items that could be made into a collectible weren't used for anything else. So now they just craft as collectibles automatically. So you don't need the actions; they're just getting rid of it.
Which is amazing, right?
Good.
Yes, exactly.
That's very
I
good.
didn't want to bury that.
Okay. That's fair.
Holy crap, right? Because so many people have said, I don't craft, but so many people have said, oh, I didn't make it as a collectible.
Yep.
Oh,
and last time we actually, the other thing in here is the trial synthesis. We actually talked about doing a trial synthesis just to make sure that you don't forget to turn collectibles on. Right. You don't have to worry about that either.
No,
yeah, they're automatically, which is great.
It's a macro check now. That's all it is. It's a macro checker. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Good. We now have El To for custom deliveries, our little dragon friend over in the firmament, which is an interesting place to add that. So that's cool. Let's see. What else did they add? There's a lot of stuff. They now display points per fish for ocean fishing.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So you can see what everything is worth. If you are still desynthing things, you can now desynth an entire stack of fish and other items, but
just
probably
fish? Okay.
Mostly fish. No, no, just fish. Specifically the ash tuna.
That would be
only the ash tuna. Only ash tuna.
I guess a lot of stuff you desynth doesn't stack too.
Right, exactly.
Tools don't stack.
Yeah. I mean, and it's hard too, because for some of that stuff too, it can throw out different types of items too. Like it's usually like 90% of the time you're gonna get sand, right? But you might maybe get a crystal, or maybe you get something else. But
there's a minimum requirement for how much space you have in your inventory, because it's gonna shit like 12 things into your inventory.
Or it just goes until you don't have any more, and then it cancels it out. Probably would be my guess.
I was thinking it'd be like one thing done. Here's all the stuff, but I guess it'll probably go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
5.
it's just a loop of going through it so that you don't have to.
Like auto crafting,
yeah.
New items are available in exchange for achievement certificates. We got new achievement certificate items. Whoa.
Okay, good.
Finally.
And
were we talking about that recently too?
We were. Yeah, we were. Let me change because they actually mentioned what this was earlier. The flyer Saffron barding that you get from doing I Believe I Can Fly has been swapped in to achievement certificates. However, this does say new items, so there should be something else as well.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is. It could be a scarf.
Yeah, it could be.
It could.
I'm okay with that.
It's
not like this scarf, like this scarf.
The one it was a head scarf, like a head scarf. That was the last one that we had added.
Bring back maybe don't, but bring back those stupid signets that had your job insignia on it. You remember those for getting to like some achievement or something?
The rings?
Yeah, doing your hunt mark book.
That's what it was. Doing the hunt mark book. Like those stupid little rings. Like
I like those. Those are cute.
Yeah, exactly.
I still have my my Halone's ring glamored on a few jobs. You can't tell what it is, but it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
Back in my day, we had more polygons on rings.
Dyeable glasses.
Dyeable glasses. New mount. We have the crazy shiny unicorn thing. This is where is this? This is in not the firmament, the churning mists. I don't know that necessarily means anything. But oh my gosh, wouldn't it be funny if that horse was from like Restoration?
That'd be great.
Just tell me what we get for Faux. That's all we want to know.
What are you going to say?
It could be. Oh, I was just saying. I mean, it could be. We don't know, honestly. It could be anywhere. So, I think people were just connecting the dots on like the horses possibly being
absolutely,
to it,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's got like sparkles and almost cherry blossom, almost look.
It's got yellow and also green and a little blue. It's a rainbow horse.
Zen's convinced. Zen is convinced.
Music played when riding the Pteranodon mount has been changed.
I wonder what it was changed to.
Pteranodon.
No.
Yeah.
I papaya? I don't know. I have no idea.
Great.
They should just do that for a patch. Just don't even tell anyone. Just have it be like a random like 0.1 patch. Just swap all the mount music in for like papaya. Just
April Fools, yeah.
Yeah, like just why the hell not? That'd be amazing. New chocobo barding has been added. New minions have been added. These are the things I feel like would be in Ishgardian Restoration, probably.
I would think so. We didn't get any pictures of them yet.
Gaily Cat.
No.
Gaily Cat with
we have the Gaily Cat with the coat. We have the boss from Heroes Gauntlet Dungeon, which obviously would be from the Heroes Gauntlet Dungeon. So yeah.
I mean, we also might. I don't know if we'll get some kind of craftable item. I mean, we probably will with the new extreme. So it could be that there's a barding that's craftable.
Yeah.
Possible.
Crystal Exarch barding.
Is that just crystals?
Scared. I'm so scared for my boy.
Yeah.
Little chocobo talons get all crystally. I just want to.
That'd be cool.
That would actually be awesome if it wasn't so much barding as it was like an effect.
Not wanting to cave 100% to fan fiction, you can now ride the Crystal Exarch barding.
Oh my god, fusion.
Yep.
Wow.
You are spicy today.
I mean, look, if Zen can talk about dick pics, I can talk about.
That's true.
That's true.
And it was relevant to the conversation.
Throw wide the gates. Let's.
Oh my gosh.
It was extremely relevant to the conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to put that out there so people
That's
who
fair.
didn't watch the Women in Streaming episode aren't like, excuse me?
Okay. New achievements and titles have been added. Probably most of those are going to be through the Ishgardian stuff. Duties that change or give credit for the tank stuff has changed a little bit. We have a fashion accessory category now in the main menu. This is where you can find your parasol.
Right.
So,
and future items.
Yeah,
and future items. So okay, we have parasols. What else are we gonna get?
Different color parasols.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Besides, we already have two of them. We already have different colored parasols.
Maybe like idle instruments where even if you're not like playing,
that'd be cool. Yeah,
like you're idling with it.
Somebody in chat says teddy bear to carry.
Yeah,
teddy bear.
I'm a very important businessman and I need a briefcase. So I'm just trying to think of accessories.
Yes.
I would think bags.
I would love like an adventurer's pack or
like a little satchel or or a backpack.
No, you can't do a backpack. That'll clip. The internet will be too upset about that. We can't do.
No, you could cover up the clipping with the backpack.
Yeah. How about a fanny pack? That'll work.
Ooh, I like fanny pack.
Yo, we haven't had cosmetic belts since 1.0. We can't. The system can't support cosmetic belts.
Belts would be awesome if they added it to the fashion accessories.
But when you say belts, you really just mean like several belts intertwined, just kind of around your waist, like a hula hoop, like a Nomura belt hula hoop. Okay. Yeah. That's actually going to be the instead of a mount from the last fight in Eden Savage, you're just going to get the belt hula hoop.
I believe in that.
How about that?
Yeah.
It just you're standing still. The
it just
hoop is moving
revolves around you as you walk around, and even when you're not, it just
a balloon, a festival balloon.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Kite.
Okay.
A kite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you like the Bombird balloon? That'd be cute.
Yeah.
Someone at Square Enix is like, okay, kite, balloon.
Yeah.
I still want my Mary Poppins umbrella mount.
How about
Mary Poppins umbrella mount?
Like a cool cane, that you kind of lean on, kind of like.
But that's the only reason people play Blue Mage. You don't want to take that incentive away.
Man.
All right. The number of friend requests that you could set in a day has been increased from 5 to 7. That way you can friend your whole party that you find in in Party Finder. That's kind of nice.
I didn't even know there was a limit.
Me neither.
I didn't either.
Well,
yeah.
I'm
People
sure
have more than 7 friends.
Yeah, spam.
Oh yeah, totally. Players can now use the world visit system when joined in a cross-world party. I didn't know that this was even a thing. Like I said, I've been raiding with some people. All of them are on a different server, right? So we have to do the cross-world thing. I mean, I'm like, you know what? Like, I'll go over there and hang out with them at the house while we wait to go in. Nope. Oh, okay. So now I
drop
can
your party to go and see you.
Yeah, such a
rejoin
pain.
your party.
Yeah.
Drove me nuts. Or like when you're in the middle of raid and maybe somebody runs out of food and your crafter's on another world, so they need to get out of the party and they need to come back. And I was just like, oh, can we please just make this so that you don't have to do all of it?
It doesn't make any sense either because it's specifically a cross-world thing, so you should be able to cross worlds.
Yeah.
And now you can.
And the next one kind of dovetails into that same sort of deal, right? Like convenience as far as party.
So party finder interface adjustments and additions. A party of players can now join another party in the party finder as long as they meet the requirements listed in the party finder.
Right.
The option to specify one player per job has been added. The silence echo option has been added when recruiting party members. The playstyle recordable and silence echo options have been added while searching for parties. The playstyle recordable and duty finder settings, silence echo options have been added to filter settings. The Forbidden Land Eureka category has been changed to adventuring forays. And the layout of the interface has been adjusted.
You know,
sounds good.
It's still in its own category, so what else is going to go into adventuring forays?
Boja, maybe.
Yeah.
Boja.
You know,
probably Boja after that. I want to. Where was the record? Because they changed the duties that can be recorded. It's still stupid, by the way, so don't get your hopes up that you'll be able to like do new relevant content. So currently, like I don't get this. All right, so right now, the Dying Gasp, which is Hades, Minstrel's Ballad, Hades Elegy, so Hades and Hades Extreme, and the Copied Factory. Okay, so with this coming patch, right, we're gonna get like this cool, crazy solo Sapphire Weapon instance. We're gonna get like this giant MSQ trial that we don't know what it is, but we know it's probably gonna be the MSQ. We're getting another 24-man raid. Sweet. Which one of those are we gonna get added to the recordable duties? None of them. Ian's verse Revulgent Savage. And they're still keeping the Copied Factory and Hades Extreme. What?
Yeah.
What?
It's baffling and it makes no sense. I don't understand. I mean, honestly, to be real, I don't even get why. Okay. So many feelings. You come up with a duty recorder, but that duty recorder is not just something that you can use on all the duties in the game. Like, I don't understand why, one, you would just make more weird work for your team to have to like go in and individually add in these different things, like, and or just be so confusing and useless. Because like in theory, for me, if you have an in-game duty recorder, that recorder should just be usable for any duties that people agree to using it for. Otherwise, why even add it? You know what I mean?
If limited,
duty recorder.
If limited, like the newest shit. Nobody is gonna be like, oh man, I can now record refulgence. This is gonna be great for my guide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's not practical as like a way to review footage for those who are progging, unless
could you imagine if they had these available for like current patch like duties? Like, dude, guides could look so much cooler and be way more helpful. Like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a game changer. But no, if you'd like to make your guide for refulgence now you have that ability, but just refulgence.
You can't even contribute it to COVID or anything either. It's been consistently behind the
it's just stupid. Like, I get that there's people working on this and that they have to choose and that it's limited, but it's stupid. Like, I'm sorry duty recording team. This is just, it's silly. It really is.
I just wonder what the limitation is there, because there's got to be one. I remember when they first started talking about it.
It's data storage. Yeah. It all comes back to the amount of data stored per player. That's all it every time.
So then the reason they wouldn't make it accessible for the current stuff is because too many people would use it.
Yeah.
Like,
imagine people using a feature.
But like, that is literally the reason that you would even have that feature, right? If it's not available for everything, the reason you would have that is so that you could review current content, and as a team, you could look over all the footage of everything
and get
to
better.
And that was what they talked about when they implemented it. But
so, like, at this point, to me, I'm like, if you cannot actually release it for new stuff because of limitations on your system, but you also cannot make it accessible for just everything in the game, then get rid of it. Why even have it?
Trash it and give me 100 more housing slots.
It just doesn't make any sense as like a feature to have and support in the game if you literally
all of that
can't use
data could be used to make a dungeon that's not the Grand Cosmos.
Right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I remember when they first started doing it, they said something like it wasn't an actual recording, it was all the actions that were happening then played back, or something like that. So yeah, that's a lot of data storage. Every time you pressed a button, it had to remember it, and then it's playing it back. That's not a great. I mean, that's probably the way that they thought to do it, but yeah, it's never going to work.
I remember. I feel like this was Frankfurt Fan Fest. It hadn't been fully announced yet, but Yoshida's like, so parsing, right? We're not doing that, but we're going to add something that maybe might be kind of like. And then you can't do it with the current. Like, what's the point, man? Like,
that's why I always remember the duty recorder, and I'm always waiting for
so many great ideas from that live letter, and so many things we just never got. Like an actual, like, not a parser, but something for relevant current content to help kind of check things. The Mary Poppins umbrella mount, like it's.
They gave us Stone Sky Sea.
And I mean, they did give us an umbrella eventually, although it's not a mount.
But I can't fly around and say I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. I mean, there's a big difference.
But
Huge
it
difference.
is kind of funny because honestly, like at this point, it's like the idea of being able to record something from all different perspectives, like you said, would be great for guides and stuff, right?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
For whatever, or even to like look as a learning tool. Like think about how many arguments about did you stand in it or didn't you stand in it could be like fixed by here's the actual footage.
Friendships will be ruined.
But honestly, like at this point, I would almost rather see them convert it if they cannot do it because of the video data storage and whatever, right? Convert it into something that really is just like an in-game parse where if everybody in the party agrees, then maybe there is a log of damage and stuff like that, but not like a video or something, right? Because right now,
good idea.
It doesn't.
As long if you have the consent, then who cares? Like,
yeah.
It's a good point. Speaking of Stone Sky Sea, kind of, a little bit.
Kind of.
This new command cannot be used in it. You can now reset enmity on striking dummies.
Oh, good.
Except in
good.
Stone Sky Sea.
I love this.
No, gone are the days where you're practicing in your yard and you have to run a mile this way or go into your house before you can do anything else.
Yep. It's great.
Just reset it. Yeah, this is perfect. This is great. This is a very good quality of life little change.
The category for actions used to transform your character has been changed from glamour to special.
Probably to not confuse people.
I guess.
Like, is this a glamour? Or is the glamour to my items a glamour? Or is the glamour that the imps can do a glamour? Which one is the real glamour?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know.
Descriptions for
necessary.
It's odd. No, it's weird. Descriptions for combo actions used in PvP, like Royal Authority combo or Wheeling Thrust combo, will now include cast time, recast time, and cost. So that's all for your PvP tooltips there. I like this one. A search function has been added to the Orchestrion.
Nice.
Yes, that's good. That's
great.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Very
Especially
good.
when you're like, do I have this one? Where is it?
Right? Oh my gosh. The amount of times I'm like, I want to listen to this track. Which one was like, let me find like Unspoken, right? Technically it's area music from 1.0. Is it area music in this game now? Where do I find it? That kind of random stuff. That's nice. Let's see. Players can now save the size and positioning of the results window that appears when appraising loot boxes and logograms.
That's nice.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
I mean,
the easy solution was just, again, numpad 0, just mash it forever.
Get rid of logograms. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, also that. But luckily we're getting those in Boja.
Yeah.
But we don't have to level. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Following additions and adjustments have been made to group pose. Sticker mode has been added.
Stickers.
Yes.
If you want
That's
your little
cute.
a little fat cat, an otter, Limson flag. If you want a pretzel, you can put a pretzel in your screenshots.
You know what I really hope is they also make like a fan kit with all of these little stickers,
Yes.
so you can use them outside of the game.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That'd be so cute.
Yeah, because I don't know that I'm gonna use them in GPose, but I might screw around in Photoshop with them.
Yeah.
Right?
I know there are a lot of people that use GPose that are probably really psyched about this.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's real cute, real cute.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of those little like minion illustrations, and yeah, that's cool.
It's like you can put a little bit of opacity on them too, because they have the otter full opacity and maybe like half opacity.
Yeah. There's a lot of little stuff in here. Also, that's not all. There's more. There's even more to GPose. Just when you thought they couldn't add more to GPose, a lip movements option has been added. Okay. So if you're tired of just doing expressions to get the mouth to open up a little bit, now you can do a lip movement option. And then there's also a track camera option as well. A loop motion option has added.
Trying to like figure out which way your character is gonna look and then go into GPose and then get the camera there.
Right.
It's a little bit of a pain.
Motions when eating with indoor furnishings will now be reflected in group pose. So if you want to take pictures of you eating, sure, you can do that. And of course, new color filters and frames have been added.
Cool. I like it. I like I said, I don't really use it, but I love that it's there. I like that it's like a little photo booth for your character. It's really adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
I mean, as somebody who is just an absolute GPose fiend,
yeah,
I love anything that adds into GPose. So.
Yeah, the rest of these are really just inconsequential things. Like you can now click on links in the game to open up stuff via the official site. Hardware cursor scaling option has been added for Windows and Mac. One
thing that is down, I don't know if this is too far down, but the new level cap with free trial.
Yes.
Yeah.
We touched on earlier, but it's definitely worth reiterating that, now it's going up to level 60, and the free trial now includes Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward. Display of the game title has been changed. Deep Dungeon X has been expanded to floor 200 for anybody that's on that free trial. I also really love this. I don't remember where I read it in this. Because I read these previously, but that if you own the base game, but you don't have Heavensward,
you get Heavensward now.
You get Heavensward for free, which is awesome.
Which brings me to another super awesome thing. Where was it? Following adjustments and additions have been made to the title screen, so you can now choose which expansion title screen in addition to the expansion opening movie. Heavensward, welcome back, buddy.
Yeah,
you're coming back.
But do note that when you log out, it goes back to default. So yeah, that's the problem.
Oh, does it?
You can set it.
That sounds useless.
But upon relogging, the title screen will return to the default screen corresponding to the product license associated with your account.
I mean, I guess.
What? Then why?
I guess that's basically so that you can watch the movie.
Yes, I think so.
That's not cool.
I was so excited until you made me read the fine print. Why would you do that? Why would you ruin this for me, Charles?
I got excited too when I saw it now because I was reading through these and I was like, "Why would? Okay, cool. Wait a second, what?
Why?
I was thinking the same. I was like, Heavensward,
It's one of those things. Like now you can see the other expansion start screens.
Yeah, which I mean, honestly, I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool though because if you start now, right? If you have Heavensward, right, it'll just play Final Fantasy Online only. But let's say you get Shadowbringers, you wouldn't see the in-between one. There would be no way because your account says you're Shadowbringers now. So it's like New Game Plus for the title screen, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of like halfway to what we would really want.
Yeah.
It's like,
give me.
And I'm glad that I can watch the old trailer, but at the same time, like, why can't I say like make this my perm?
Right?
Like,
give me layout of the game launcher has been adjusted. It's probably just to remove that little tiny bit of scroll that's there for no reason. But yo, give me a button in the launcher. It's like, yo, launch this with like the Heavensward screen or something. Like,
it would be awesome.
That'd be great. I'd love that. See.
Oh,
I think
for our peers, there's just one thing for our peers that I have to say. A maximum value can now be specified when you're rolling random and dice. So you can say, I want to roll a 20-sided or a 50 or a whatever. Yeah, it's just a tiny thing, but it's awesome.
I really like that.
So like, if you want to like, if you want to play D&D inside of 14.
Yes, exactly.
Now you can.
Well, Fusion's laughing, but that's what I've been doing.
On Belmont, there's a weekly like fight club that rolls to get. Yeah, exactly.
I've been doing a ton of events where we are using rolls for various things, whether it's like for combat or it's even for like almost like quick time events in a sense, or like skill checks or
skill checks from D&D.
Which is super fun because like sometimes it'll just be like a public thing that's happening. Sometimes it'll even be like a private thing where like somebody who's kind of the DM of the overall event to some degree and orchestrating and leading it will like PM you and say like, roll a secret skill check. And so then you'll go and you'll like roll and then they'll say like, okay, well you succeed or you fail. And then you can kind of like write based off of it. And it's honestly super fun, but sometimes it is hard right now because if it is like, well, I could either fail so hard with a 1 or I could roll a 900 trying to figure out like what the scale of success or failure is. You have to like set these weird thresholds and like,
I'm also
we used to play in character dice game with a 6-sided die, and so we had translations. Basically it's like pick the last number from whatever comes up. If it's a 7, 8, or 9, it's a 1, 2, or 3. Now we can just set it to 6. 1 through 6.
I'm really curious if this will have any effect on in-game gambling with random rolls.
Yeah, that's funny. No. I haven't even seen that in so long.
It's super rare. It's not as prevalent as it used to be, especially in like 11. Like 11 had this a lot too.
Oh yes. The casinos.
But yeah, I'm a little curious. Like, because it's like okay, if you roll under 10, like. Done. Give me my money.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll tell you like at the beginning what the limit is.
Maybe it'll have that as part of the command that comes through. Like,
that's
very well.
That's a thing in most things that have adjustable dice rollers.
Yeah. New music has been added.
Okay.
Yep. Heck yeah, new music.
Where?
I'm here for everywhere. Everywhere.
Okay.
I think that's about it, really. Hitting the bigger things here. There's a lot of just like little whatevers. Like, cool. That's all the stuff.
It is a lot.
Favorite thing coming with the patch, Zen, go.
Oh, why would you pick me first?
Because you're
That's not an answer.
Anybody can go. Anybody. Favorite thing in the patch notes.
I'll take the easy route and say MSQ.
Dang it, no!
Right. I was
wow.
Like,
that was hard. You put a lot of thought into that, didn't you, Aldi?
Exactly.
I have furniture. Furniture.
Okay, furnishing I'm excited about. I mean, really, honestly, when it comes down to it, because we aren't getting Boja this particular patch, I am. The story is what I'm super excited about. I want to see how this story culminates. Yeah. I want to know what this trial is going to be, and I'm excited about the trial because I always like a new boss, new music, like the new feel of it. And with where our story has been going, I'm really hoping we get to see some more about like the history of our relation to Amarat. And like, that's what I'm hoping for right now. And we'll see what happens. And I'm really hoping that Crystal Boy doesn't get in trouble.
Yeah. He will live on in our Chocobo barding.
If I have to pick something that's smaller than the MSQ, I will say the stupid Transcendence status, so that you can know when you're not invulnerable anymore. Because I've never known how long that is. And now, as soon as you get it once, you'll see, oh, it's 10 seconds. Oh, okay. How long?
Game changer. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like if it's 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Wow.
Yeah. Or if it's 5 seconds. Like it's a big difference.
Oh yeah.
The watermelons are pretty cute. I'm excited to do the 24-man. I love 24-mans.
I'm excited for the music in the 24 man.
Yes.
It
So
blew my
I'm
mind
gonna
last time.
I'm gonna just kind of blanket just the music and everything. All the music in the whole patch. Like we have that vocal Amarot rock arrangement, which is probably for our mystery trial, which is just, oh my god. The Tempest music already is like one of my favorite tracks in all of 14. So like I can't wait to hear more of this. It's also sung by Jason C. Miller, who did the Shadowbringers opening theme. So it's just like, bring it. Just give me that song. I can't wait. I can't wait for all the music. The Nier stuff has been like, as much as I've been kind of about Nier in general, the music has been absolutely fantastic. I just music, man. I want the tunes. Give me the tunes.
I am hopeful. Like dungeons are normally one of the things that I absolutely look forward to the most, because I actually really love the stories of dungeons. I love the feel of dungeons, and I do like getting that new content to run, even if, right now, since we're down to one dungeon for the foreseeable future / forever, we don't get as many things to cycle through, but I do usually love running those. I haven't been super, super, super impressed with the patch dungeons we've gotten, so I'm really hoping that this one does do something that surprises me and that I think is interesting and memorable, so that I can, like, add it into my favorite dungeon.
Impression that I get from Heroes Gauntlet. So with Grand Cosmos and with Academia Niter, right? They've woven into the MSQ. But I think that Heroes Gauntlet is going to be a little more active, because I think it's going to take place as part of a bigger event that's going on. So you'll have a cutscene, like the new meteor shower, dungeon, the end of that, right? I think this is just kind of the middle part of this big event, this kind of culmination event that's happening. And I think because of that, I think it could be really cool. But then we also had like Gimlet Dark, and that was kind of so I don't, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I want it to be really cool.
There was a lot of cool stuff in Gimlet Dark, right? There were a lot of little things throughout Gimlet Dark that were pretty cool, but the dungeon itself was very lackluster. So maybe I learned from it. Maybe we'll have all those cool extra things with like the Scions or whatever, but also have a good quality dungeon.
I mean,
I'll be really curious to see the similarities between.
I feel like the Heroes Gauntlet is going to feel like Amarot, the event one with the beast at the end, like with everything falling apart around
give me that level of epic. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But without the like little gauntlet in the middle.
Yes, exactly.
And then similar to that, right? What if this new trial is, you still have a dungeon boss, but what if this new trial is the culmination of that dungeon stretch, right? Like Hades was for. I could see that. I could see it.
Yeah, if you're going to reduce it because it's so close to the story, then intertwine the story.
Because they've done that twice already with this expansion with Innocence and with Hades. They'll do it again. That makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, or give us the twinning. Like give us something equivalent to the twinning, because it was just another dungeon, but it was beautiful because it gave us stuff that we would not normally know.
Oh, that dungeon. Yes. There were so many good things about that dungeon. Yeah. That's a dungeon done right. And then, like, the first patch, we got, like, the Grand Cosmos, and you're just like, oh, okay.
And,
like, I don't hate the Grand Cosmos.
I don't hate it either. I think what's so frustrating to me is that, like, kind of like Aldino, like you've been saying, it has so much potential.
Right.
But I felt like the actual journey of the dungeon didn't really reflect the potential that was there. And, like, we talked about
so many missed opportunities.
Like the idea of how cool would it have been if one of the bosses was that you're like dancing around with the ghosts and there's something you have to do with that, or like, it's really easy to miss. But one of my favorite things in that dungeon is when you go through the hall that has the paintings and the enemies who were the previous rulers of the kingdom come out of the painting. Why is that not one of the dungeon bosses?
Yeah. Like what are we doing?
Why is the final boss of that dungeon not that the old king comes out of the painting and fights you on his horse?
Because you're there to get Puppers, and Puppers has a familiar, and that's you can set the piano on fire.
I really like setting the things on fire.
No,
I mean, the mechanics are fun.
I do think that final boss has fun mechanics, but I think that we could have easily done away with the first two bosses, and had that one be like one of them, and then lead through this journey about like the actual history of this, Fae and the kingdom and things like that.
I would have loved a few little clickable log things somewhere.
Yes.
So I think that's the big deal for me, that I just feel like the dungeons, either it needs to be like really mechanically interesting and there's something new and like a little gimmick or something that's fun, or for me, a lot of times it needs to have a setting that is like memorable and exciting and interesting, that's like well done and reinforced, that makes it this like little snippet that we wouldn't have otherwise gotten. And that's why I love dungeons, because they do have the possibility of being a narrative arc that you take through them. And so it's fun for me when I get one that's new and I'm like, this is a cool place I wanted to go to, or like this is a cool
that's why the twinning worked so well, because there's that mystery of it, like of, okay, like, oh, we're going back in the tower, okay, we're familiar with this area, oh, what's this area? And then you start getting these little snippets of like, hey, so like, you want to find out how like the whole time travel thing worked, check this shit out. And it's just amazing, and I love every bit of it. And the music,
yeah,
of course.
You know, I miss the hard version of dungeons, not because they were the same dungeon again, basically, but because it was a different path through that same area. I want more of that.
It was a different path, but it wasn't like it was fully just like reused, right? It was like a way to return again to like the story that had been established within that place, and then kind of see what happens with it.
Exactly.
And some of them have really fun little culminations, like the in the LGBT episode we talked about the gay couple that's involved with, which one is it? You know what I'm talking about?
Wanderer's Palace.
Yes, Wanderer's Palace. And like the hard mode that has you basically going in and like helping all the Tonberries who have become their adopted children.
Yeah.
Just like, and it's so good. Or there's just a ton of them that I really liked, that evolution of story that is just like really fun to see, that little different thing where you're returning and it's, you know, getting
and what makes it more depressing, I mean, thinking about hard dungeons, and that's, you know, because that's not something we're getting with this expansion. Yes, there are new things, but largely it uses the same set of textures and all that kind of stuff. So like, it's not the cost of a full new dungeon, right? Exactly. It's probably not like half, but it's less. And so like that, we're not getting that, especially like it's.
But they also can't really do it with this particular expansion because we're not in the same universe.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to do like,
that doesn't mean anything.
Switch hard, maybe.
I think the places that we would be going back to do hard versions of don't exist in the places we are doing dungeons.
And that's fine, because they won't be trust compatible and they don't need to be.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying.
Stuff is still happening on the source, right? We're starting to get back into the source now.
What I'm saying is, because of where all of the dungeons have been this time around, we can't have hard versions.
Well, we can have hard versions.
So like next expansion, absolutely, they could go back into hard versions.
Give us
but not
hard
this
versions.
Expansion stuff.
Give us hard versions of Stormblood stuff.
We've established that the Warrior of Light could travel back and forth. I mean, like even our current story has a back and forth.
If that's how they want to angle it, sure, absolutely. But
well,
give us Desert Ant's hard mode.
Yes, we could do that.
They can make a whole Mincer Switch hard mode. It's just not Light Warden. You know what I mean? That's what I mean.
Yes. Yeah. But most of the time, it's from like previous, like a fair amount beforehand.
I would love if they were like every patch we get a story dungeon and a revisit to one of the dungeons that we were doing leveling or something.
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing in that?
They kind of did that for a while in Heavensburg, right? Those were great.
Yeah. It was cool.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I would almost prefer, I would prefer that, because I mean, like you were pointing out, it does become kind of frustrating and a little bit dull when you kind of, especially when you need to run expert roulette as far as like upgrade stuff goes and things, right? So like there is a function for having to run them, and it does get very tiring when you do run them and all you get is Grand Cosmos, as Fusion has demonstrated. And it's kind of like, I do wish we just had a little bit more in there, and I wish we had a little bit more. And I understand that like creating 2 new dungeons is not only fiscally difficult, because you know you're trying to dedicate the time, resources, team, and money to them, but it also can be kind of disruptive to the story. Like if you're having to constantly be like, all right, well somehow we got to shoehorn like 2 dungeons into this.
So does it make sense for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, like, could you imagine like Arboretum hard mode right now in the middle of like Shadowbringers? It's like, all right, so like we went down into Academia Niter, we found some crazy stuff going on. Also, the Arboretum has bees now. Can you go handle this?
Well, I don't mean cross.
That's actually what I meant, though. That like doing the hard modes, gives you an option to do a different side narrative that doesn't interrupt the main narrative arc, right? Like, so although it is a little bit like, oh, well, go take care of this dumb thing, like at the same time, it's not like it interrupts the momentum of the actual, like story itself.
And to be fair, even like twinning was kind of like that. It was connected, but it wasn't part of the line of the story.
And I'm not saying put any hard dungeons on the source. No, I mean on the first. Like, we haven't finished Ronkin stuff. Why don't we have a hard version where we go down another hallway? That's what I mean. I don't mean make hard from other expansions. I mean keep it here.
Yeah. What was the other dungeon with the twinning? What was the other post game dungeon?
Academia something.
The other like a nighter one. Were those trust compatible?
I don't know. I've never done a trust.
I don't remember.
Sure all of the Shadowbringers dungeons are trust compatible. I'm almost positive. If I'm wrong, please let me know.
It makes sense that it would be, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Neither are trust compatible, says Steven.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Guild Wars 1 fan says not at the time, but they are now.
Yes, I think they weren't at the time because I remember doing.
Because they're not MS. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, because they're not MSQ. They're side dungeons. Yeah, but I think that the problem is you look at the teams and how things are structured. So you have like the dungeon team, but that dungeon team is now having to deal with trusts, and so that takes time. And so they simply can't do 2 dungeons, and it is what it is. Like, I get it.
No, they're not.
That's always the problem, right? Is we want to see more, but more takes, like you can't just add more. So I get it. And again, it goes back to when the team wants to try something new. Trust, I think it was a really interesting idea. I think it helps people that maybe want to play a Final Fantasy game, but maybe aren't 100% comfortable with the online component. I feel like it was a good thing.
People have used it for leveling too.
Yeah.
They, I could easily see them using this going forward. But I think it's important to also have those dungeons that aren't necessarily connected to the MSQ. So we get that side stuff. I mean, we're getting really cool stuff, with the weapon stuff. We're going to have that like cool solo instance coming up. But I don't know if that content necessarily fills that same kind of like void of not having that hard mode dungeon. So I'll be really curious to see what kind of feedback they take away from 5.x and how that changes in 6.x.
Right. Definitely.
But it sounds like we all agree. Hard modes are great and we like them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there are a million ways to do them too. We all had like a different version, but I think they would all work.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else that we want to touch on here before we close this out? We're almost at 3 hours.
Oh!
Patch notes, right?
It's been a long time coming, this patch. So.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
that's for sure.
At like full screen 1440p, I don't know how many pages this is of patch notes anyway. Yeah. Like, it's a lot of patch notes.
It's pages.
It's like over 20, so
we're like 2 hours in, and like my little scroll thing hadn't even gotten like halfway down. I was like, oh no. Yeah. Incoming 5-hour episode.
Luckily, most of the stuff at the bottom is just like repeats of obvious stuff from the top.
They're just
like, you're getting a trial, and then this one is this
silly
will
things
be added to the thing where you can queue for it, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, obviously.
Yeah. All right. So that is going to do it here for us. If you want, you can email us, aetheryteradio@gamerscape.com. You tweet at us at aetheryteradio. You can also find us on Discord, discord.gg/gamerscape. We also have an Aetheryte Radio channel on there if you'd like to talk to us about the show. And of course, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook as Gamer Escape. Thank you for everybody that tuned in today. Thank you for everybody that hit that follow button. Thanks for hosting, I guess, as she always does. And we will see you all later. Thank you very much.
Bye everyone.